Welcome to LCK Challenger League. WDG Esports Studio is live, and I'm Valdez. With me is Upu.
That's right. Thanks for saying it to me in Korean. It makes me feel like we're really in tune with each other. Valdez. I really appreciate it. Today we have some good matches. We got two best of threes coming at you. It's a 2-game Tuesday. Could be 2 one-sided games today. That's the expectation, but it could also be 3 games back-to-back for each series, because I think both of these teams, the weaker teams, could upset, at least in one game. That's kind of been the MO for Breon as well. The, well, take a game off a stronger team but can't win the series kind of moniker that they've lived and died by here in Challengers.
Hello, everybody. I see a lot of you are typing in chat. Good morning. It is 5 p.m. here, but good morning from where you are at, I hope. And yeah, as Wolf mentioned, should be a lot of fun. Our first series in particular is going to be actually very fun. Very high-level challengers play, you could say, because KT versus Hama Life Esports. KT currently in first, Hama Life Esports on the come-up and looking for as many wins as possible before playoffs.
Indeed. So let's take a look at the standings here. You can see that KT, DK, and DRX, all 3 tied at 13 wins. So a win would be really huge for KT Rolster tonight to put them 1 step ahead, as they have 1 additional game to play. The loss for DK and DRX, putting them at 13 and 4, means that they're going to be massively ahead in terms of that game score if they're able to take that win tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something to look at as Quantum Freaks versus Bro for our second matchup as well. This feels like it's, you know, you were telling me before, I think it's going to be 5 games, but I don't know. To me, it's like either it's 4 games or it's 6 games.
Yeah, I can kind of see what you mean.
Because either we're going to have one of these days where everybody's kind of like feeling the pressure, everybody wants to play really well, so the team that loses the first game is like, all right, guys, we got to focus real hard, we got to take this next one, and then they tie it up, and the other team is caught, you know, not playing as hard, perhaps, in the second match, especially for that second one, because Quantum Freaks, you know, they only have 4 wins compared to Bros 1. They are in 7th compared to 10th, but, like, you know, is the difference really that large, Wolf?
We'll
I'm not
find
so
out.
sure.
We'll find out, right? And like the LCK, we have a clear top 6 and a clear bottom 4. The difference between 6th place and 7th place is 6 wins at the moment.
Yes.
So it's pretty significant, the difference in level of play we're going to see between our first series and the second one. So if you're here right now, you're at least here for the good one, because this is going to be a big matchup. KT Rolster against Hama Life Esports. DRX going on a big streak here in round 2, so they actually moved up to top 3 and passed Hama Life Esports. But up until DRX had that incredible streak, it looked like Hama Life Esports were our 3rd best team. They might still be, but they have had a bit of a shakier round 2 than DRX has.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And this is really, you know, it's coming down to the wire. And DRX are really the team that's showing off that, hey, we can deal with the pressure the best. Whereas other teams, you know, back and forth, back and forth. Obviously, our top teams are still winning a decent amount. But some falters here and there. As you can see, the stats here for KT Rolster are quite high.
Yeah, you can see that they generally slightly prefer Dragons to Heralds, especially second Herald. So yeah, we're seeing a lot more early Drake control for them, giving that second Herald up. Not too much else to read into in those stats. See a pretty high first blood rate. This team has been very dominant, so it shouldn't come as any surprise that that is occurring. As over here on the side of HLE, I think we have a very clear focal point, right? Rooster has great hair, but the top side of the map hasn't really been what this team's about. Like Ian Romer, you know, they've played fine, but it's really been about Lure and Guwon in the jungle. Like these are the 2 players that have given Hanwha the most success, and I think why in round 1, where the meta was much more about bottom lane, it's still about bot lane a lot, but it was only about bot lane in round 1, they found so much success back then compared to in round 2.
Yeah, it's very important to note. As you'll note here as well, their HLE is higher than the side of KT Rolster, so perhaps we will have more Heralds per game on the side of Hamalife Esports. But definitely one of their toughest opponents, one of their toughest matches that they have to go into, and it's very late in the season, as this is the last week. Key position is going to be the bot lane, which I think Wolf is exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah. With the Zeri win rate here at 9-5 for Hype, it's his most played. Notice that the diversity here drops down pretty hard after the Varus, but we have seen Hype pick up the Xayah, as she has become the second most popular AD carrier right now in Korea, so actually lossless on that pick right now. As you see, on the side of Lure, he's played a lot more Aphelios, and his Varus isn't as strong. But we are looking at number 1 right now versus number 4 in terms of AD carries. Somebody asked me about the Monty Wolf show this week. It was canceled, actually, because Monty lost power in his house when we were supposed to record, so we weren't able to do it. So sorry about that.
Unlucky.
Unlucky.
Maybe next week. You can see the DPM is a bit higher here for Lure. We don't quite have... Oh, wait, we did have damage per gold. It was higher for Lure as well. And so you might say, like, hey, maybe Lure is a better AD carry. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think that Hype is one of the best, if not the best. So don't read into the stats too much, guys, as it will depend on the execution in the game. These 2 AD carries are both very strong. As here we go, we are into pick ban.
Yeah, and it's 13.5, as was discussed yesterday. I didn't watch all of the Challengers games yesterday, but you guys know the ones I watched because I was in the chat talking with you guys.
Jarvan.
That's right. Did not like the Jarvan support that much in the T1 series. I hope we see a little bit less of it today. It does feel like some of these teams are trying to emulate what they're seeing in the LCK, but the Jarvan support execution burden is quite high, as we will see, interestingly, a Heimerdinger ban rather than a Varus ban. I think this indicates that KT could be fishing for, like their sister team in the LCK, potentially some Karma Prio.
Yeah, Sejuani gets banned as well, so they don't want to leave open, like a Varus Sejuani or like even a Jhin Sejuani, even though Jhin is very much fallen out of the meta. I think they're making it pretty clear what they do want to pick up here first. As let's see if Hamalife Esports reacts.
It is Hype who hasn't prioritized the Caitlyn that much this season, so I think that's a pick a lot of people are thinking about right now, but they will ban it anyways. And it makes it really easy to just lock in Karma here if you want to play towards the standard lanes, but they'll take away the Varus. Interestingly, with no Caitlyn on the other side and no Heimerdinger, they might just get Karma anyways, but this at least prevents Lure from playing on-hit Varus because he's been very good at that. Lee Sin just going to be blinded again here.
Yeah, I think every jungler in the Korean region of both LCK and LCK Challengers
and LCK Academy.
And Academy and even solo queue rejoiced when Lee Sin became meta again, even though it was always meta in solo queue. But it's, yeah, teams are willing to pick it up. It's just, it has such a huge impact on the early game and even the mid game. I mean, our Lee Sins here in Korea are insane.
I would love to see a Thresh pick away. I don't think they'll do it, because I think it's actually still pretty strong here, but will not happen. Going to be Wukong locked in here. Saw that yesterday, actually, in the LEC, the Thresh pick away from the Aphelios. As it will be Nautilus they take instead, so pretty basic and boring engage bot lane setup with 2 melee supports, but means that this Lee Sin isn't going to be as powerful in the early game because there isn't as much pressure point down there on the bottom side. We'll see. I mean, that can, of course, change elsewhere on the map, but I think this is a pretty easy Thresh lock-in. Yeah. What? I mean, Thresh and Nautilus is basic and boring, man. It is. It is.
I mean, it's better than...
I know your name is Astro Nautilus TX, but like, if it was Nautilus into an interesting lane, I'd be like, oh, it's cool. It's not about the Nautilus, it's about the Nautilus and Thresh together.
Yeah, Yundo.
Yeah.
As now we are banning away the other OTPs from Feisty.
It's so funny that Feisty he has the highest POG points, and he's shown a massive champion pool, and still, like, he just can't. They just always ban Syndra against him no matter what. Syndra's not even that good right now, but they're like, "Phew, I don't want to give him the opportunity."
And, I mean, he might just play Azir instead.
Yeah,
but
he
this
very
might
well
just
might.
be 4th picked on the side. I think this is a perfect place to just take away the Azir and have Roamer jump on that.
They'll take the Renekton instead, which I think is another great alternative.
No!
Oh, Cassante though? No, just Renekton. Oh, Cassante though? Oh, Shen though? Nah, just Renekton.
Just Renekton.
Kled though? No, just Renekton. Kenneth? No, just Renekton.
Oh man. Rakennen?
Oh,
all right. Well, now you
just
just
gonna
pick
be
Gnar and Azir.
Gnar and Azir, easy peasy. Akali is available, and so is Silas actually. So maybe you don't take Azir here, but I trust the execution.
So good.
Yeah,
and it's feisty too.
Maybe
like,
take not Gnar and then the Azir, like Gangplank and Azir.
Nah.
Nah.
A rooster in a crocodile suit. This man's got it figured out. I just played into a Kled in solo queue.
It was probably me.
It was probably Wolf. So they're maybe not
Victor.
going to do the Azir because of all of the quote-unquote counter picks that you did mention, Wolf.
Yeah.
But now they just pick Azir.
Yeah, I think that this is an easy pick for Roamer now. This is the other problem. Like, oh, wait a second. What about Fizz,
Guys!
though, Valdez? Hold on. I'm like, Teemo mid? No, it's Azir. We go back to the...
No, it's Azir, actually. Talia.
Oh,
okay.
Talia, okay.
All right, I mean, there's a large amount of CC in this one, and you can drop down rocks and get kicked over them. But, I mean, why not Azir? Like, what?
So, I think the Talia is very strong here in this composition, but it's not as good into
Wolf.
Victor.
It's
Yeah.
13.5.
Oh, true. Oh, yeah.
I did a big whoopsie. I'm sorry, guys. For some reason, I mixed challengers with the last day of the last LCK, so we did 13.4 on Sunday, and I just figured,
oh my god, yeah.
Okay, sorry, guys.
I
That's
actually
my fault.
forgot as well.
I baited Wolf as well. This is all my fault.
Well, I mean,
it's okay.
I still think
no
it's
Azir.
I still think it's playable. I think it's playable, but like,
Yeah.
it's definitely
Not as
on
good.
it's not on the tier list spot we were putting it. And like, we always associate Renekton and Azir together because they both do great things in the early game together, and then the Renekton kind of falls off, but the Azir does not. So it's a really strong combo for getting early objective control. Talia also really good at early objective control for different reasons, and we'll see if Roamer's performance on it this time around is going to be good enough here. As KT have a draft that is very difficult to execute here, I think. They have the Gnar engages, which are going to be based on the Gnar bar. You have a weak potential top lane angle. Like, there's an angle for Guon to attack this Gnar into the Renekton matchup, whereas bottom lane might be pretty self-explanatory. I think HLE have a lot more agency in the early game because of those Weaver's Walls, because of the Lee Sin that's better pre-6 than the Wukong is, and they have Thresh Aphelios.
Yeah, Thresh Aphelios is going to be nice. I think that for the side of KT, I'm very happy that Rebel got his hands onto the Nautilus once again. One of his most played, and he is 5-0 on the pick. And I was just thinking, you know, not even looking off the stats, the guy is just insane from my memory. We'll see if he can do it again as we hop onto the rip for game number 1. You tried to cover it up by like doing an extra do-do-do song. It's okay. Your heart was in it. I appreciate that. As here comes KT.
There goes KT. One of the stats, you were talking about the Rebel stat for the Nautilus. One of the stats I had to check just now because I was like, I think Roamer has been poor on this pick. Like, his performance has been weak, and he's 1-3 on it, actually. So we'll see if he can bring it back a little bit, as Talia's pretty complicated to play. I think a lot of the resurgence of Taliyah into the Azir matchup on 13.4 was based on BDD's great performance on the pick in particular in the LCK. And BDD is a known Taliyah player who's very good at it. As you can
Very
see
well known, yes.
Yeah, you can see that 1 and 3 for Roamer. In challenges, I think it's harder to get those advantages, and your team has to be really good at using Weaver's Wall and being really coordinated around it. So sometimes we see the Taliyah pick look a little bit less good the lower the level of play.
Do you know any Taliyah lore?
She likes rocks. Nope.
Okay, that was the answer I was looking for. She's from Shurima.
Okay.
Just like Azir.
Okay.
I was just wondering because, yeah, Yasuo trained her. I knew about that.
She meets Sivir at one point at a
Okay.
cafe, or like...
Probably at a cafe, yeah. Ooh, level 2 spike here. Duro is going to eat the hook. And a nice little start here for KT's bottom lane. She's in love with Malphite? That can't be. Okay, you're joking.
That's
Likes
the rock.
Okay,
rock.
yeah, that was very clever. Nearly got me there. I was just wondering because the name of her ult is Weaver's Wall, right? And I'm like, is she a weaver of some sort? Does she weave in rock
she
throwing, and that's why it's called Weaver's Wall?
I think it's because she's known to make baskets.
It is known?
I mean, that's what I heard. But
Okay.
my information may be incorrect about this. She's called the Stone Weaver, but she doesn't make baskets out of stone.
Yeah, I would imagine that's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
You would need a very high temperature to bend stone. I don't even know if that's possible.
Guan's
Maybe if
just
you're a
gonna
volcano.
steal this.
Oh, he sees Hambak, who
Well.
couldn't quite get over the wall, but either way, yeah, just gonna smite it away. Guan just kind of being annoying. Might be able to like force double scuttle from here with his aggression, but he did go for the 3 camp level 3 invade.
Well, this is really amazing for the side of KT because they have a ton of bot push right now, and that hook trade went so well for Hype and Rebel that they can continue to put this much aggression on, and because Guan is trying to harass Hambak here, and Hambak is just following him around, like the top matchup is also not going to be... It's like really easy for Hambak to just shadow. He's going to take this ward out here. So no advantages right now for HLE, and they're even going to get the scuttle. Like, nice try.
They
but we're
will
gonna take
secure the scuttle.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is theirs.
No double scuttle for you.
Yeah. Guan did take the blue buff, so that is one thing. But as you're mentioning, I think KT pretty fine with the shenanigans early on here. It's not really going to make that big of a deal.
Actually going to give it over too. Nice. Nice. Always
Do you
let your
think that
jungle have it.
Wukong's stick that he holds is like relatively heavy and he's really strong? Or is it light, like it feels and sounds like? You know what I mean?
I think it's somewhere in the middle, actually, I feel.
Okay.
Like, you know, you've probably held like one of those staffs, like a quarter staff, you know, before.
Like a hockey stick?
Yeah, like a hockey stick, you know, something like that. It's not quite, I think it's like a little bit heavier than that, maybe like 30% more heavy than that. Like a really girthy walking stick.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, like one that like...
It's not the adjective I would have used, but sure.
Like if you grabbed it, like maybe your middle finger and your thumb like just barely touch.
Whoa.
Kind of like...
Okay, all right.
Like that sort of like heaviness to... I don't know, I don't know how to explain this, but I think it's heavy enough to where it's like... I mean, you asked me, I don't know.
It's just not the word I would have used. Like, I don't know. Someone said it's supposedly from Chinese mythology. It's a really big pillar that was shrunk down, and so it should be really heavy.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
I believe it's all like the same Chinese myth, right? Like Wukong is a pretty... It's like in every game, right? Like
Monkey King.
Yeah, exactly. So it's probably pretty heavy.
I think
and
so.
Potentially girthy. I mean, I wouldn't know.
I mean, I'm just basing it on what it looks like when I see him smack people with it.
Like, the reason I asked is because it just looks and sounds so light to me. Like, when he's using it on the Rift Scuttler, I'm like, does that thing even do damage?
I feel like it sounds like, yeah, let's take a look.
Yeah, see, it's like nothing. Only if he Qs, obviously.
Yeah, if he Qs, it gets pretty loud.
It's a different story. We got an engage here. Lure in a little bit of trouble, has to flash away. End cleanse.
Okay,
Castle.
Roamer's here.
No hop. Could have like Weavers and maybe forced to flash, but nope, not going to amount to too much.
If he commits to that, he's probably going to lose a plate, and if he loses a plate and doesn't get the kill, then it's going to feel really bad. He won't have ult either for a potential Drake fight, so I understand the reasoning, but this is the kind of execution I'm talking about where everyone has to be really coordinated to use this Talia, and you can see the ideas there, but they're just not willing to pull the trigger. So nothing happens there. Mid prio comes over, bot prio remains, and KT, just by the nature of the power of their early game here and how much bottom side control they've had, they're just going to get an early Drake. And Talia does nothing.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Infernal Drake next. The singular Mountain Drake isn't going to be amazing, considering, you know, Wukong builds a lot of health. Like, yeah, you'll get some resistances on Castle and maybe even Rebel, but it's not that kind of like really tanky composition where you'll get a lot of value out of the singular one, but most important for the soul that will eventually happen. As here in Challengers, we generally have more action, waiting for that action. No flash here on Lure, but they're not going to get baited in as Guwon is nearby.
Good position there from Lure as well, just staying behind the wave. Not going to force anything here. They want to get this ward out of the brush if they can, but I don't think they'll be so lucky. Especially with Hype having level 6 here. Still a little bit away themselves. As Hambach with that wave, trying to sneak in here. He might have been seen. Doesn't look like it.
All right, well, they're just going to get on top of Lure. He just has nothing. He's just dead. First blood and second blood as well.
So that action you were looking for, eh?
Yeah. Well, very sneaky gank, very nicely set up by KT.
Gonna potentially give over this Herald, but you know, I'd say that this is absolutely worth it for the amount of resources committed. Like basically just a Wukong pressing R. Didn't even have to flash for this to get 2 kills and a plate to the Varus.
Yeah,
you're happy to give it over.
Lure doesn't have any summoners. They don't have vision of this brush.
Yeah.
So it's Varus Nautilus Wolf. Like they could have just walked at him.
Yep.
I don't even think they needed the Wukong, but made it look cooler, I guess.
Well, make sure you get the double. I guess maybe they would have otherwise gotten like a flash out of Duro and he escapes. But with the Wukong there, you're going to get both kills. And yeah, arguably maybe he just doesn't need to be there and he goes topside and delays the Herald and they end up getting a kill and a plate bottom side and the Herald, but I like the play from Hambach. Look at the pet that we did see on the vision toggle there, probably not actually visible to the players because he was in the brush when that happened, but it was very close to him getting seen.
HLE bot aggressive when Gen.G have Herald.
You mean Herald?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the message, I think he's also right? Like, you don't have your jungler around, Guwon's doing Rift Herald. Gotta play it safer when your AD carry does not have any summoners. And now Hype, who is going for on hit, he's just going to be in a really good spot, Wolf. He's just going to be like feeling amazing. He's one of our best AD carries in this entire league.
Yep. And there's just not much Guwon has been able to accomplish this game. Like he tried to put the pressure on early and actually cost them some control. And speaking of Guwon, how loud are the Qs?
They're decently loud, you know.
No red buff, unfortunately, so Guwon is going to be able to get away. Fortunately for Guwon. Unfortunately for Hambach.
Valda's favorite board game, Spirit Island. That's the one we all play.
I mean, that's his second favorite.
What is my first favorite?
Well, Candyland, obviously.
No, it's not. What are you talking about?
Valda plays Candyland all the time.
I absolutely do not.
And he also plays with the rainbow enabled. Like he allows you to actually roll rainbow and win the game.
That is not true.
It's really not that fun playing Candyland with Valdez. He plays with the rainbows enabled.
Rainbows
not how
enabled.
I play.
Definitely have never even heard of that.
You have to disable the rainbow bridges, otherwise like someone can basically win the game instantly.
That
but
sounds
you
like
don't
a
disable
nightmare
them for some reason.
because he hates RNG with dice.
well, I mean, as you perfectly well know, since it's your favorite game, there are no dice in Candyland. You draw
I
a
actually
card.
didn't know. I forgot about that, actually. His castle is just being run down. He should be okay, but Guwon might be able to slink his way into the brush, but no, just control ward is here, and he should be fine. Wolf, you don't even play board games.
Not really.
Is it because you lost to Rainbow Bridges one too many times?
Well, that's why I disable them when I play. Which is why I don't play Candyland with you, because you keep them
I'd
enabled.
actually be down for like a night where we play like old, super simple board games.
Yeah. Get some Uno in there.
Yeah. Some, well, not Monopoly. Monopoly doesn't count, but it's not a board game.
Monopoly, like, usually you want to play games that are fun.
You know, like Sorry? Yeah. Monopoly's not that fun. You know, like Sorry? You ever play Sorry?
Yeah, I played Sorry before.
How about Trouble?
Trouble? Oh, Trouble's a good shout.
Yeah, you get to press the little popper thing in the
what
middle.
about Boggle?
Boggle? I feel like I've played it before, but I don't know. I don't remember what it is.
So you have like a tic-tac-toe type grid with a bunch of letters that are all dies, and so you shake it, and then the letters all appear, and you try to like, connect letters together, almost like Scrabble, and write down
it's
as
like
many as you
easy
can.
Scrabble?
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds fun, actually.
It's pretty fun. It's kind of like a race in professional Boggle.
Professional Boggle?
I mean, look, I watched the King of the Hill episode once.
Okay.
And they had Boggle
Me too,
tournaments.
I have seen that.
Yeah, and they had Boggle tournaments there, and Peggy Hill played in the Boggle tournament.
Okay.
So I think that Boggle tournaments are a thing, or maybe they're only a thing in the King of the Hill universe, but...
Okay. Have you ever played Yahtzee?
I played Yahtzee when I was a kid, and I did not enjoy it.
I actually liked it. Castle maybe doesn't have pop here, as Rooster trying to put on the pressure, but again, just going to kite it back, spacing pretty decent here from Castle. And Rooster just getting very aggressive, not too much to see. Have you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh? Wolf has.
Yeah.
I have not.
I was recently talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And how it was a good game in my middle school days. I haven't played it in a long time. I know there are some very good Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games, and some of the Korean commentators would play the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, like on their Switch last year. One of my best friends I played Yu-Gi-Oh! With growing up plays it.
Is that like an online game?
Yeah, I think it's online. I don't know if it's like you have to buy the cards, you know, like Hearthstone or whatever, but I really don't know. But some of my old Yu-Gi-Oh! Friends still play. I don't know, it's still popular. I don't play it anymore, though.
Yeah.
I was still just waiting for the holograms to come out.
I was getting into Magic the Gathering with LS like 2-3 years ago. It was pretty fun, just... It's very expensive.
I saw he played and won a tournament recently.
Yeah, he won the tournament, yeah. He actually invited me to that, and I'm like, he's like, oh, are you free on Sunday? I'm like, LS. I'm not free on any day.
No.
Unless it's Monday and, well, not and. Monday or Tuesday, depending on the week. So, yeah, he just went there and won. So, that was pretty cool. Won like a PS5.
Saw that. This game nothing has happened since that double kill, except KT has gotten a lot of control over the map. They've put the Varus mid. It's a very slight gold lead now in the grand scheme of things for the Varus. Like, those 2 kills early accelerated him to a shield bow, so it's not like he has taken this lead and is running with it, because now Gale Force is picked up here for Lure. So it's still a fairly close game, but HLE needed to use this Talia to win fights early or to try to secure early objectives. Same with the Renekton. Renekton bought a Cull.
Yeah.
It is going to finish soon, but like...
Feels like they're playing it very safe and slow.
Yeah.
They're not really doing much. I like how they're trying to make a play here on this second Rift Herald, but it's taking them pretty much forever because Shirley just is saying no. He's not taking any damage, just running away. Okay, well, Leaf Esports are now like, well, this is awkward. What should we do? All 5 of us are here. Maybe we should K-Ram?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Is Hambach does have flash ult, so This really needs to be respected by HLE. They're going to try to pick him off first. Not the choice I'd look for, especially if he runs into that choke point. They've actually just given KT Rolster a ton of space here.
Uh-oh. Look at Hanbok's angle. You were just talking about this. He's got the blast plans as well.
Oh my god, here it comes!
No! He's just in the back line, and yeah, he might die here. He does go down, okay, but that is a 2-for-1 trade in favor of KT. So the setup perfect here for KT, and as you mentioned, Hanwha, they kind of just stumbled into that one.
Yeah, they tunneled on the Wukong, and then KT were like, oh cool, we got position now, and the Victor actually gets in range. Look at how much damage Feisty did in that team fight with the Cyclone setup. It's insane with his ultimate and just one Death Ray. He's cresting 2,500. As, look at that, Death Ray comes through, they grab the Sin, and there's no follow-up here, because this fight isn't really, like, the reason why Hanbok dies is because he goes into 3 by himself, but the front line dies while he backs up, or takes out the back line. So the back line can't follow through when that hook comes through from the Nautilus, when the follow-up ult comes through from Rebel. And so that's a 3rd kill for the Varus now. And things are looking pretty dire here for HLE, especially considering there is no realistic way that they can contest this Drake right now at Soul Point. They may have a Taliyah, but she's not here. She will need to rush down as soon as possible. And because Castle is up on the top side of the map, they will have a man advantage. Castle does not have TP yet, but if you lose the fight here, like actually losing the Drake is better than losing the fight, but if you lose the fight and the Drake, it is not going to be a good situation.
That's going to be pretty rough. KT Rolster potentially letting them have this one as Hanbok just playing it well with his clone. As Castle. Free value up here. Going to trade it for the Drake. I'm not sure if you kind of had to let this one go as KT, but you are you're also delaying an Elder Drake Wolf.
I guess so.
So if you want to stop Elder flips from happening, just let him have one. And then you take the next 2.
I definitely think they should have contested.
Renekton's relatively tanky, but there is just massive amounts of CC on the side. Chains of Corruption. Able to chain over onto Roamer. That's going to be another kill here onto the Aphelios, who is in the front. Lure not using his flash. As, yeah, just the massive amount of CC.
Castle's not even here.
On the side of KT is just going to outdo Hanwha Esports, and they say, yeah, sure, take one Drake. We don't give a damn.
Yeah, so this is what I like to call the Valdez theory of relativity. The Renekton is relatively tanky.
Yes.
One stack left on his Cole too, and now he's in the Death Chamber, so he's like, let's see, he is sitting at 191 gold, so can't buy something necessarily that he would have had if he actually finishes the Cole. Needs one more minion. So the hilarious part about all of this is that HLE got away with the Drake without fighting, and then they were like, you know what? And KT like wanted a fight. Like they were like, oh yeah, we actually are way ahead right now. We should definitely fight if we can. KT decided not to fight for the Drake, and then HLE were like, no, but your comp is so strong right here. Let's just engage into it with all the CC that's set up, and they did. And they gave KT the fight that KT should have wanted but didn't want, and so now KT lose the Drake but win the fight.
That's good.
Now bounties are up.
Oh, no, not again. Well, at least he saved his flash from the last fight. And this time, kind of going to bait KT into this one. Yes, Lure does go down as another hook going to hit, but able to clone away. So, nicely done, but also another kill went over to the Victor, who did snipe Lure down. Who unfortunately is not having too fun of a time in this game.
No, he certainly did not. Or he's not, rather.
Whoa! Look at this play. He's showing off their CC. Okay, Hanwha Esports.
Okay.
You never know what's going to happen in a game of challengers. And all of a sudden, a big team fight win an ace to Hanwha Esports.
All right, well, an ace picked up early. They cannot do Baron, but maybe they can pick up some bounty gold here on this mid turret. Some objective bounty gold, because they picked up some bounty gold on these players. As Lure gets caught, quote unquote, but then the follow-up here is actually pretty insane. The kick is great. The follow-up damage here from Rooster also, and Rebel is just way out in no man's land, but the follow-up hits onto Hanbok with the death sentence. And you have so much additional poke here with the Taliyah. Castle gets pulled in one more time. And then Guan decides doesn't want any further chase. Just flash out of there.
He moved up to Q the minion because he's trying to clear the wave and keep the turret alive, and that led to his eventual death.
Just trying to save it. He will fail, and HLE will pick up the objective bounty. Objective bounties falling now as a result of this fight where they pulled back up. Only 2,000 gold behind now. You know, all in a day's team fight. Now the Talia has a Seraph's complete.
Yeah. And that did take a slight hit on 13.5.
That's true.
But it's still a good item. I think it's very strong into the amount of burst damage that's on the side of KT. It's very nice, even so. As Castle, he has gotten 3 free turrets so far in this game, Wolf.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, we're trying to force into a lantern. And by we, I mean KT Rolster.
By KT Rolster, you mean KT Rolster Challengers team.
Yeah. By KT Rolster Challengers team, I mean this particular variant of it with Castle playing instead of Perfect.
Okay, and Rebel instead of Way.
And Rebel instead of Way. Okay. And not, of course, previous rosters with Noah, etc.
Noah. Yeah, they're trying to do the thing where they bait the Baron fight. Only issue is that this is Hextech Rift, so Home Life Esports were able to get over there very quickly. And yeah, not going to go for that. It's still very early on, 22.5 minutes, and especially because KT lost that last fight. Got to take it slower.
I do think that, thinking about Seraphs and the nerfs, like, I think it's still just going to be played exactly like it was the entire time on 13, because it's just the only item of its type that exists. Like, there's no other great option, like, for these mages who want to build tier anyways, so just kind of nerfs mages in general, but I think it's fine. I think it's all right. That's my take.
Was Jace banned? I think
yes,
he was.
I believe so.
Blue
first
side?
Yeah, first rotation.
They have a ton of damage here. I think they might be able to get this one down, as Castle's like, wait, no, I want to take down the Drake.
He does have TP, actually, and they have a ward set up, so
his damage on the dragon is not very high. Oh, boy. Guan gets knocked up by the Baron and gets hit by a laser, as now the Hextech Drake taken by
looking
Castle.
for the flank again.
Doesn't even have to TP in.
Oh, wow.
Nicely handled by KT. I kind of like the attempt by Home Life Esports, but it doesn't work out for them.
The cool thing about this comp for HLE, especially on these types of attempts, is that it has really cool turn, and you could try to Weaver's Wall to deny an approach so that you could actually secure it and then get out, but they did none of that. They just kind of like, oh no, and they left. And so that does really hurt your chances of being able to actually successfully take something like this, as Castle is just continuing to push insides here.
This is great. He's doing an awesome job.
He gets 2 ultimates, and they're getting the Baron, and he still has TP.
Yeah. Guan is here, so they're going to have to deal with that, right? Guys, right? You're going to have to deal with that, right? Okay, they're going to get the TP out of Roamer, and they're just going to back away after having gotten that value. Not bad.
They got the Talia teleport, didn't actually expend any of their summoners, and the turret is taking a bit of a beating. Valdez showed me that somebody wrote something a little bit inappropriate in the YouTube chat.
It's gone now.
It is gone now,
it's
thankfully.
Gone. That didn't take very long.
I appreciate it.
Good old YouTube chat, never change.
YouTube chat, always. Whenever I feel like I'm ready to trust.
Yeah.
Always letting me down, YouTube chat.
It's okay.
It's okay. I'm sure all of our Vietnamese chatters are doing the right thing. I wouldn't know, but I bet you guys are great. I trust you.
Absolutely.
The rest of you,
Bud
get it together.
Came from YouTube chat. He's glad he made the move.
Yeah. Welcome, Butters. I see part of the YouTube chat is still within you.
Good thing we are all intellectuals here.
Intellectuals.
Yeah, every single one of us. Absolutely. That is a clone.
It was a clone.
The rocks don't explode anymore, Hambak. You're okay.
All right, so we're back to square one, where Castle still hasn't teleported and still beating a Renekton in sides with a cleaver done. Starrick's not getting you really a whole lot of value here. Unfortunately, I know this is the cool way to build Renekton these days, but it isn't going to help you in this case at all, even a little bit. So Rooster's going to struggle. See how much shielding value he gets in team fights, if we ever have one ever again in this game, which I am personally hoping for. A lot. I would like to see some action. Some combat, perhaps? Some conflict? Over resources the teams would like to have? Yeah.
I think that HLE are playing it very safe and measured against a very strong team. And KT are a very strong team, so they're just not randomly pressing their buttons at the enemy. They kind of play the more LCK style.
Yep. Someone said YouTube is the players infinitely better. Well, I don't think it's infinitely better.
Oh man, Matt Beeron from YouTube chat. How did you two get hired? You're horrible shoutcaster. Sorry, buddy.
How twisted fate did you two get hired? You, our horrible shoutcaster.
Man, he really got us. I don't know, man. How did we get
spell
hired?
Matt right? Like,
yeah.
Unlucky.
How twisted fate are we really, though? How twisted is your fate, do you think?
Yeah. How twisted are our fates when we are looking at this gameplay not happening? I feel pretty twisted.
Well, all we can do is read YouTube chat and great comments like that.
Yeah. LCK best casters from Grey Mob. A much better name.
Go. Oh, okay. Hambach flash in, does not get the steal as now the turn comes in. HLE in a great spot, actually. The Cyclone with not too much value, but in goes the Nard Castle. Very tanky in this front line as finally Rooster goes down. Hype doing the majority of the heavy lifting in this fight for his team, but at the end of the day, two members survive on both sides, and HLE got the Baron.
Yeah. So HLE, successful Baron here, but the loss in the team fight is what's most concerning, as Hambach once again, with the attempted steal, but also a really nice engage. The Cyclone value here is huge, and Guan trying to get out of the pit here does fail and die here. So KT picking up some gold here, significant amount of it, and will they be able to secure this soul? This is arguably more important than the Baron buff that HLE picked up here, especially with some of those removed. And control of this choke point and a TP coming through means I don't think HLE really can contest this right now.
That wall is pretty threatening. Hype just going to flash into the pit as this is pretty much all or nothing. It comes down to this one as the smite is there and Lure just giving away his life essentially. Let's see this fight though, as Hype in a lot of trouble. He does not have flash anymore. Down he will go, but he will absolutely take that trade any day of the week.
The cool thing about this too for KT is, yeah, you lost your 80 carry and some bounty gold was given over, but not only did you get the Hextech Soul, which is permanent, what is not permanent is the Baron buff, which a lot of that timer was spent actually fighting for this Drake. So look at this turret, like the first turret they group up for with this Baron buff is like full health. So it's gonna take a little while. They're grouped up as 4, so KT are even getting value in other lanes right now. A lot of minions in top and mid being missed as Hype flashed early from this exchange. He just doesn't want to get caught by the Talia combo here. Roamer does a lot of damage right now, and then they do overextend quite significantly here trying to get out of this pit. Like, they could have just gone upwards here, but they decided to try to force a fight. And without those flashes we were talking about, they can't get out of the pit. So still, kill going over, but you can see the gold lead here still there for Hype. And if you look at the gold in total, it's only 1,000 gold the difference, all of that on Hype. But the Hextech Soul is worth more than gold.
Yeah, Hextech is pretty massive. And this probably just means that we get an Elder Flip Wolf. This is just the way of challengers. I'm not sure that it can be avoided in this case, especially because the game is so close. I'm not sure that KT can really close it out, even though they do have this advantage with the Hextech Soul. And where we're at right now, you know, on hit, you know, crit, whatever, on the Varus, he does have a little bit more scaling, but I'm not sure he's going to be as good as Aphelios in these very late game fights.
I think it's going to be about like Talia engage versus Wukong Cyclone. Like that seems to be the case with these two teams. And I think the extra pressure that Castle's been putting on side lane wise here has been so critical this entire game, but it hasn't led to any real damage, you know, any hull damage here for HLE, because he's been winning the side, but he hasn't been able to take out that bottom inner turret. He hasn't threatened any of these inhibitor turrets. So see if he can set up something here in these upcoming team fights, because we are 3.5 minutes away from that Elder. So it's just going to be a little while. So back to YouTube chat. What's going on over there?
No, I mean, YouTube chat's just doing their thing.
I see that. Whoa. Has Challengers always come down to an Elder flip, or is it only this year? I'd say the last 2 years. You know, it has really been that way.
It's kind of the thing. Yeah. The signature Challengers movement.
Yeah. So, on the map, there it is. Thank you, observers. This is what is happening for now.
Yes.
It is a Victor and a Gnar for KT who have control of the map, so there's not much where we're...
Caster's favorite pizza topping, pepperoni.
Anchovies. Pepperoni.
That's not
second.
true.
Yes, it is.
That's not true.
It is true.
I've never had a pizza with you where you put anchovies
don't like
on
anchovies. Or do you secretly like anchovies? And you
No,
never
I
told me?
don't.
Okay, well, that's why you've never shared a pizza with me with anchovies, because I'm not rude. I'm not going to make somebody eat anchovies if they don't like it.
I don't know. You just have never mentioned it until this moment.
I eat anchovies on my pizza at home every time.
That's
I
not
actually
true.
have. Yes, I do. I have a jar of anchovies.
You have
in
a
my
jar of
refrigerator.
anchovies? I don't believe that for a
Yes.
second.
Yes, I do. I get them at Costco. It's true.
I don't think they even sell a jar of anchovies at Costco.
It's a jar. I mean,
Uh-oh, here we
Bye-bye.
go. The CC chain, but it's into the tank. Doesn't matter. The answer is no. The tank is not that tanky. But most importantly, the Varus is now dead. As it looks like KT are like, well, we don't have our Varus anymore, so...
That was some scary gore drinker value from Guon, but it didn't matter in the end.
Yeah, well, they spent a lot of their time killing the front line of Homolite Esports while their AD carry died.
Yeah, that is problematic. The question is without this front line and without a jungler, can they actually contest for this Elder? It will respawn, but like they want to get vision set up here. They want to have some element of control. And right now, they do not have any of that. In fact, neither of these teams have really any Elder vision. Careful. Careful, Duro. Careful. Careful.
You see that Feisty is still doing an insane amount of damage and has the range advantage. The Victor oftentimes picked into the Aphelios for this reason. Even as the game goes along, can match scaling and will have a range advantage against certain guns. As here comes a wall, just locking them in, I guess. And now Romer in a little bit of trouble here as he is not able to use the Lantern. Down it goes in a massive Cyclone into the backline. The Aphelios is dead, and so are Homolite Esports. KT will take game number 1.
Yeah, that was a interesting choice from Romer. Like, he wanted to set up a 5v3 fight essentially, but the rest of the team isn't set up, and he went so deep to wall that he ended up getting chain CC'd and dying, out overextended, and that is going to be the end of the game.
No Elder Flip, Wolf.
No Elder Flip.
Maybe next time.
Not this time.
But this game was much closer than I thought it was going to be, to be honest.
Yeah.
When KT got that early lead, I was like, oh, this is over. Well, we'll see you in 25 minutes. But no, Homolite Esports stood up to them in game number 1. As KT Rolster will win on the blue side, which has been a common theme nowadays.
Who are you voting for?
I might go for Feisty. A little bit.
I want to watch this final moment.
A little bit of boom boom damage.
I actually think I want to vote for Rebel.
That's also a good choice. Actually, I'm gonna do it. Well,
because he also, he had this moment, but he also had so many good team fights in the mid game. I think Feisty also played well. Castle also has some great moments. I was initially leaning towards Hambach actually, but it's like one of those games where it's decided by who makes the snap decision faster. And I think Rebel made the decisions quickest every time.
So, do Perfect and Wei come in for game 2?
No.
What do you think?
No. I don't think so. I think it's too important to try to get first place right now. I think KT are going to stick with this roster.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea to stick with what you've got, what worked here in game number 1 as well. This is, of course, your main starting duo anyway.
Yeah, well, I will apologize to Astronautis from Texas because I said the lane was going to be boring, and it was a little bit exciting for a second, actually. It was
we did have some excitement, yeah. Not bad.
I thought we did not see great pathing from Guan. I thought his attempts to try to get the Renekton ahead really hurt the bottom lane, and then he tried to be aggressive and steal the Gromp and then failed and lost like all tempo in the game. I think that is why KT, part of the reason why KT had such a massive lead early. And then there was that team fight, you know, where KT kind of went a little bit too hard at the turret, but they brought it back.
Yeah, you see that in the goal difference graph. We had some peaks and some valleys, and we did get to the peak in the end as Reble is going to pick it up here once again for the POG 233 CC score.
Yeah, I try not to look at that one. 90% kill participation, though. That's a lot. DPM also an interesting stat to show, but
well.
I have seen...
yeah, what's his vision score, huh?
Yeah,
maybe they didn't want to show that one.
I've seen a lot on... I've been watching a lot of pro gamers streams recently, and like seeing some Nautilus top popping up every now and then. I do wonder if he could make a comeback.
It does have a lot of CC, and if you don't want to play it in the bot lane, that's one way to get a Nautilus on your team.
True.
I like it. Just get Nautilus top, Gragas mid, Wukong jungle or Sejuani jungle. Bottom lane is Varus and, I don't know, Cho'Gath or something.
Vision score is a big liar.
Vision score called out as a big liar.
Jarvan MF bot does sound fun. Maybe we'll get that in game 2.
Yeah, might happen. But guys, we are going to take a little break and be back for game number 2. Hello and welcome back to the WGG Esports Studio for Challenger League. I am Valdez. With me is Lulp, and we are getting into the second game of the day. KT Rolster able to win relatively handily. You know, going by the Valdez theory of relativity, of course.
Relatively tanky Renekton.
But at the end of the day, you know, Home Life put up a good fight, and I wouldn't be surprised if they clap back, you know.
It could happen. It could happen. I think a lot of it's going to come down to the draft. I think they tried to do something that was too complex for their level of shot calling.
What do you mean it's a green screen?
Wait, what? That's not a green screen.
These are real waves.
About? My hand goes behind the wave perfectly. Look at that. What are you guys talking about? The heck? See?
Definitely
Look.
real.
Definitely real. This is a desk. Watch me grab this. See? Hold on. Totally real.
Yeah, let me just pat our desk. Good disc. Nice.
So Wolf's arms are so long. They're fairly long.
Mm-hmm.
We did get the update that HLE have selected blue side.
Yeah, we also got another update, Wolf.
We did. Remember how we were talking about this KT Rolster roster in particular, the Academy roster and not the main roster, and then also
Challenger roster.
Challenger's roster. Yeah. Well, Perfect is coming in. And also, additionally,
there he is.
Wei will also be coming in. So 2 players subbed in here in Game 2. And I'm surprised by this because I think both these players are very good. But trying to go first place, I was expecting they'd, in a tough matchup like this, stick with their main roster.
Yeah, me too. You know, I thought it mattered a lot to try to get the 2-0, but apparently not. No butt ores. I would never eat grass. We had this conversation with Chronicler the other day, especially not grass on my cake. Not you. What do you think, Wolf? No grass on cake, right?
No.
Absolutely not.
Weird.
See? Yeah. Chronicler the other day, I mean, it's very strange. He was advocating for grass on cake. I just said no. I don't think it's a good idea.
That might be illegal in some states. So make sure you check your local laws and regulations before you participate. So here's an interesting theory, as we are going to see some of these bans coming through. If you're the coaching staff at KT and you want to get these players more experience, especially in a high-pressure matchup like this, I actually think the risk is too high. And if KT lose the second game and then you yoink them back out and put the main roster back in for Game 3, like, that's really going to hurt your confidence. I feel like it's... I disagree with the coaching staff if that's the reasoning. Because if they win here, then okay. But, like, I think the risk of them losing and then having to be pulled out because you need this win so badly for the season.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think it's like Butters from South Park, no need for the emphasis on the beginning, but I like emphasizing the beginning. It's the best part, as these are really weird bans.
Yeah, Lee Sin is targeted here, interestingly, and then
where's the Caitlyn, the Ashe, the Annie?
I think we're going to start trading some OPs. Elise is
gone. So now on red side, you leave all 3 open so you can get 2 of them.
I guess so, Valdez.
Tibber open.
Tibber open.
Tibber open!
We did see Tibber open yesterday, too.
Generally, you want to banny.
Okay, they did it. They did it.
What? Why do you do this?
Now, they will get the Ashe.
Leave 2 of them open, then you get Caitlyn Annie. Yeah. But now you only get Caitlyn. And you give them Ashe.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just go Caitlyn and Jhin, I guess. I don't know if that's what you want to do. Okay.
Interesting. If Varus was open, you could have played like Caitlyn Varus. That could have been a strat. It could have been an idea. Those are not Sivir. That's not Sivir. Just saying.
How do you know? I mean, it could be a new skin or something.
It says Jhin right there.
Maybe
Why
it's
is
wrong.
he so smug about it too? It's really weird. He's so smug on that mask.
I think it might be Sivir, actually.
You know,
Jinber.
I'm feeling like our API team has done a pretty good job of connecting the game.
Gen.G?
Yeah.
Nice one, Yundo.
Yeah.
That's really high level.
That was next level. Yeah, I think it's Jin. Jin Vi, and I have Ego Maokai. So my confidence in this bottom lane is not very high at the moment into Caitlyn Heimerdinger.
Would you say it's low?
I would say it's low. I wouldn't say like abysmal or like I'm feeling really bad. I'm feeling a little bit concerned.
Okay. All right. They are not amateur players. Kevin Kim came out with the who will win game 2? The fans. The fans will win game 2. Wukong picked up here. Like that choice.
Yeah, so that's pretty strong right now, and you have a really strong bottom lane as well, so you don't need the Wukong to come down there and make anything happen for you. So the power spike, or the rather power trough 3-6 for Wukong going to feel less bad. See what gets banned here for HLE, because you really just don't know what you're walking into here. Okay, we're going to see a Jace ban. That makes sense. We might see a Renekton ban again. JC.
Yeah, I'm calling Jace JC from now on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do believe Jin will be the AD carry. Yes, that seems likely.
That seems likely.
If it is not the case, I think I like this lane even less.
Might be downgraded to, you know, from bad to worse tier, actually.
Talia's banned this time around, so Roamer won't have that opportunity.
Victor?
I don't think so. I think they want something that has a little bit more engage opportunity, but it is 13.5, so Azir's off the table. Cassante going to be picked here blind. Pretty safe pick.
I think that's fine. We've seen that Cassante, rather, has gone up in priority bit by bit, even after his nerfs.
If they take Gnar into this, I think it's really easy to just put Feisty on Silas, and this comp works really well. All right, Roamer's going to play Syndra. Blind.
Cho'Gath.
Kled? No, it's just Gnar. Someone showed us our Twitch. Someone showed us our Twitch clip from last time where we were like, "Oh, it's not Gnar," and then it was Gnar. I have been playing so much Kled recently. I'm all about the Kled. I was really hoping for the Kled myself, but
Ackley?
Well, I mean, I think it
should have been Fizz. This is actually the Fizz game.
Yeah.
I would have loved a Fizz here.
So bottom lane, you've got some power with this Vi. Like if you can come down there and push this Caitlyn back, and, you know, stop the Heimerdinger push, then you can win topside pretty comfortably Gnar into the Cassante in the early game. The Akali here is kind of weird because it's not going to be a lot of power early, but can be very incredible later on here for Feisty. You can definitely carry, especially into this Ashe composition where Ashe doesn't have a whole lot of support. Like, yeah, there's a Vi there, so if you try to all in on the Ashe and try to get on top of her and Vi just presses R on you, that can be a problem, but there's so many other threats. You have to deal with the Wukong, you have to deal with the Cassante, so it's not going to be that simple. And shutting this Akali down even with the Vi is so hard. With things like the Syndra, the Jhin, the Ashe, like she's the hardest target to lock down. So I do like it in that regard.
Yeah, we'll see how the lane goes. Who's BDD had issues with Akali into his Syndra in that one game? That was 13.4. I mean, I don't think much changed with these two champions in this patch. So maybe Feisty getting like the trickle down knowledge, saying like, hey, actually Akali's pretty good into Syndra in the lane, kind of against the normal opinion. Or maybe just BDD kind of messed up the lane, which did kind of happen. But yeah, I trust Feisty here. I think he's got some kind of angle.
I think he's going to be really powerful in mid to late game team fights because, you know, it's so difficult to actually play Gnar into this comp. There's so many different ways for Gnar to get blocked out from using his Gnar bar. Like he's like, I have this one window, I'm trying to hop in and actually set up a fight. There's an Akali locking him out. There's a Caitlyn doing damage. There's Heimerdinger turrets. It's going to be an unfun time for Rooster this time around.
Yep. Let's see how it goes, guys. Both these teams are ready. Let's hop onto the rift for game number 2. You're way early. I even did the head bop to like get the beat going.
I don't know, man.
And then you go on the down beat. I was so ready.
I'm gonna say something that is gonna make everybody hate me.
Okay.
And you know, I think it's time to say it because it's the last week of regular season here.
I know exactly what you're gonna say too. It's a very Wolf thing to say.
It is.
So I just know what's gonna happen.
Yep. It's a very Wolf thing to say.
All right, let's get it over with.
I think it might be time to retire the do start. I think it might be. I think we've done it enough. You know, I feel like it was cool. It's very fun. It's very classic. And I think we need to. I think it's ready. We're ready to find a new cool thing to do at the beginning of the game.
Even YouTube chat's getting in against you.
All right. Well,
clearly
the sentiment is otherwise. So I guess we'll just keep doing it. I guess it's just gonna keep happening. I guess you guys are gonna get what you want.
Keep doing it.
But you guys know I'm not very good at it.
It's okay. There's always room for improvement. We could always bring an electric guitar and do it properly. The effort is what we appreciate, even if it's not perfect.
Yeah? I can always be better. That's true.
So, Jin with Ghost. In current year.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting some work done here at level 1. Now they have level 2 as Roamer is reminding everyone that this is not a fun time for the Akali in the early levels. And that is why Hambach is going to come over here for a flash gank. He wants to take that away.
Hello?
Not in the bush, by the way.
Hello? Hello? Sir? This is a Wendy's? Stop standing outside the bush menacingly.
You are revealed, sir. You must be in the bush for you not to be seen. That was pretty bizarre. He's just standing there menacingly. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Roamer's like, and now that he's gone, back to regular scheduled Syndra programming here in the mid lane. Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely.
Is it a solo kill?
No, not quite. But yeah, definitely not a fun time regardless.
Yeah, he did have one more pot. Yeah.
Level 4. Okay. He's fine.
He'll be okay because he's going to be way more relevant later on. An 8 CS difference now, you won't even remember when we get to the late game.
I'll remember it.
No, I don't think you'll remember it, actually.
I know you were talking on Twitch chat, but I will remember it, Wolf.
I was talking to Twitch chat, but, like, I'm not sure if you'll remember it. I think there's going to be a lot of other things to focus on. He bought a refillable potion now, so that's going to help. Does feel bad to buy, but, you know.
That's fine. You just buy it, and you just accept that it's a tax that you have to pay.
Yeah. There's always a Syndra tax, whether it's a Hex Drinker, fillable pot, 10 CS deficit. You know, these are the things that...
I think he should have played Corki in this game.
He could have, but I don't think he should have. I'm going to have to disagree.
I think it would have been the better choice.
The matchup here is definitely terrible for Akali early, as many matchups in the Syndra are, but they don't need mid-prio to play this comp. It is going to affect how the Caitlyn and the Heimerdinger works, as we talked about before, because Caitlyn Heimerdinger should be feeling very good into the Jhin and Ashe, and so far they just kind of sat under turret safely, because Hambach can't do that much to help them. Vi exists. And Caitlyn doesn't have to get like a plate at 5 minutes every time. It happens usually in the LCK, but it doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, I mean, got the Ashe down there. Again, they could have had Annie, or they could have had Caitlyn Ashe.
Yeah.
They had that power. They could have done it. And then they just elected not to do it.
And
that happened in the draft.
Like, why they... Like, I'm still trying to figure out why they banned Annie. They, like, think that is better than the alternatives, which I disagree. I agree with you. It's just very bizarre. Like, I thought about it for a while, like, is there a reason? Maybe they just were like, oh, Annie is so broken, we messed this draft up, like, better not give that. I think that's very possible. In fact, likely, I would almost even say. But we're going to contest this Drake pre-6 with no prio. I don't know about this one, KT. Let's see those skills.
Show me your skills.
Show me your moves.
Duro.
Get out of there, KT!
He literally just walks away as... Yeah, Wei is going to be locked up here, getting a bunch of this aggro, and that will be first blood as they are just hounding KT down. As really not sure why they even went in there to try to play for this when you have an Akali mid.
Yeah.
And you're getting pushed in bot.
Yeah. And also they have a Vi, and you're Wukong at level 4.
And they have position on the Drake.
Yeah. Also early game Ashe.
Just challengers things, I guess. Also this flash to like try to stun Duro, and he just literally walked away. It's like, okay, well.
Look at how much, like how many resources they have to use, including that flash attempt to get turrets into position. If the turrets are there first, or you're there first for the Drake setup, like it's basically impossible for HLE to play it. Like you're like, oh, well now we can't contest, and this is 100% a Caitlyn Heimer Drake. But when you're there first, as HLE, you're like, I've got the anchor set. There's no way they're breaking through. So not only do they give over the Drake here, but also an additional kill to the Jhin.
Well, you know, KT, they just said, we want to get some extra practice. We want to give all the fans and the casters a 3-game series. So they
did it for the fans.
Very generous. So we should all thank KT for, you know, what they're doing here. Yeah, I was definitely a little bit tilted by that decision.
Yeah, it definitely didn't spark joy for me. Another grenade gonna miss. But we're trying out here.
All right, that is a level 6 Wukong.
The Cyclone is coming up. I feel like a meteorologist right now.
The Cyclone is here. As well, you're just gonna get all outed under the turret as perfect. Oh no, he's okay. It's okay for now, but that is a Vi who will just ult him and hit him once. A nice trade back, as with the red buff, Hanbok will chase him down the lane, but won't amount to too much, as this bottom lane is just going very much in favor of Homolife Esports. Wei can just kind of sit against the wall. Well, he could have, and instead, Lure is just going to snipe him.
I am a little bit speechless about this one, Valdez. So Duro angled the curtain call incorrectly, so there was actually a sliver of space to the right side there where he could stand, and then he didn't stand there. And so Lure was like, because he had vision of that sliver, and he was like, well, you walked away, so like maybe I'll just fire for this. Oh, okay, that's another one. Not a double kill, but effectively. So now 3 kills for this Jhin, and some additional plate gold. So you know what? Like, let's rewind back to when I was like, I don't know about this Jhin.
You guys remember
Ashe.
game 1?
Yeah. Do you remember when I was also in the draft? I was like, I don't know about this Jhin Ashe because I'm not feeling like super low on it, but I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit worried. Yeah, not anymore. Not anymore. Feeling pretty good about it at this moment in time. Because when he stepped Alpha Vision, he's like, well, I'll just fire one in that direction. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll hit the Heimer. If I don't, whatever, I'm not going to kill Hype. He actually hit Hype several times too, so he also is like ready to follow up and kill him. Now the Gale Force, not the Gale Force, the...
Remember the Pug support being subbed out? Yeah, I remember that as well.
Yeah, what a choice that you could make. The Noon Quiver and the Pickaxe are ready here. A Quick Cloak also for Lure, so very close to that first Mythic.
Yeah. Any tilted casters in chat? Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, I know it's challengers and, You know, not everything's going to be perfect. The level is not going to be the same as LCK. I just
only the top laner.
I expected a little bit more from our #1 challengers team, and this is not it, guys.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing.
Not it.
Well, I mean, there are many things, and you've actually laid quite a few of them out. But one of the things that I am currently focusing on is that KT is in first place, but they're subbing out these players to give other players. Oh, that actually hit.
Yeah, he's dead.
Bye-bye.
And that's going to be the end of Feisty. Nice arrow there from Duro.
I'm changing it up. I don't always do hoo-hoos now. Sometimes I go ooh or oh.
Me too, yeah.
But yeah, like this isn't a great look going into playoffs. And now, like I said, are Way and Perfect gonna feel good about this when they get subbed out immediately after? Well, Perfect might not, but I mean,
they keep getting chances to come in, so maybe they won't. Maybe they won't feel too bad. They're like, oh, I didn't play well, but I know I'm gonna get subbed in for Game 2 anyway when my team wins.
Not a huge fan of how this has all gone down here, but look, there were some individual mistakes by the KT roster players, and now this is a snowballing game out of their hands. And look, should our expectations have been that the main roster stayed here? Yes, but it isn't. Okay, they get the Drake.
All right, XX Soul again. Why does this keep happening in challengers? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They okay, arrow gonna hit. That's a Jin. Wei can stand in front of him as here comes the Vi. And just gonna let that last one hit Hype, as if he gets slowed down, maybe he gets collapsed on by Vi. But yeah, at least KT are able to get one singular Drake.
There you go. Looking at the bright side for KT roster fans out there. As Lure, he's going to try to push this by himself and get an additional plate. I think that's a bit optimistic, but he's got a large wave. Let's see, one more shot. Oh, he wants it so bad.
So close.
He so badly wants it.
He should have gone in there and then Gale forced out. No, he's got a minute and a half.
You know, I'm gonna say maybe just wait for the next wave.
Yeah.
Let's see if he Gale forces out anyways, just to be cool.
Chemtech tenacity to counter Jin slows.
There you go. GG.
I love this guy's positivity. He gets
That's
it.
the kind of positivity I like to see in my challengers chat.
Yeah. Ain't no way KT lose to Kwangdong in this week, right?
You know, I think this is because of what I said about the do-do-do-do at the beginning. I think I cursed it.
I think you...
I
think challengers took it personally.
Never, ever, ever going to slander our opening ritual ever again.
Yeah, you better not. Challenger's going to get angry. Again. Well, let's see how Homalife play with the lead, because this is challengers, and they do have They have a pretty massive lead, right? Like this should be in this meta unlosable, but it's challengers. You never know. There is still an Akali.
Yeah, the Akali is significantly behind, but
it exists.
And will have a mythic item eventually. Getting closer.
Casters, do you think game devs are overhated?
Yes. Actually, yes. I'm going to say in a big way, yes. Across...
I don't know what to say. I love your aggressive style. I think you're a really cool guy and a great jungler. But that one, we're just going to all collectively forget about.
Yeah, we're gonna let it go. So now you're allowed to remember the HCS difference in the early game. Yeah. I'm going to ask you about that later, see if you remember.
I still remember.
Yeah, I know you do now, but I will quiz you one more time about it. Because when I said we're not going to remember it later, I meant it for a very different reason than the reason that we are watching right now. Whereas now a 30 CS lead and a 2,000 gold lead in the mid lane alone. It is a 6,000 gold lead, or 5,500 here for HLE across the map.
Wow, that's some math you got there.
Yeah.
Showing off.
And do what I can.
Yeah. Here comes a top gank. Rooster is totally biting the bait here, as yeah, he's probably just dead. Not gonna get anywhere to flash away. So yeah, I mean, he saw Perfect, and Perfect used taunt, and Rooster was taunted and couldn't do anything.
We'll be crowing for a few more seconds here, and yeah, well, I think everyone knows what you mean. He did run at seemingly for no reason, and now HLE have a lot of control over this Herald, but KT still want to force this with a Caitlyn with only Gale Force.
Well, we're getting in the back line here as Hambach is getting targeted, but it's it's a Wukong pressing the gameplay button. Roamer will at least be able to trade it back.
All right, hold on. The Akali angle
did not start off very well.
Akali on Vision angle. Akali on Jin Trap angle.
Max range stun angle as he's, well, yeah, he just doesn't have enough tenacity.
Yeah, I feel like Lure is the devil to his angle.
He's dead.
Okay, well, it seemed like at the time when he was clearing that control ward that it was probably going to be a poor choice to stick around, but he was really hoping, because look, at this point, if Feisty just randomly gets kills because HLE split their backs or something, but that's how you get back into the game, right? Unfortunately, it was a really well-placed trap there. Captive audience on the choke point, so Feisty gets slowed, and then the follow-up CC is big. The damage is boom boom. A Leandri's Syndra too, actually, which normally I hate a lot, but with the changes to Syndra, I think it's pretty good, and also when you're this far ahead, it just is super win more. So
everything's burning.
Yeah.
Akali more of a trap than Syndra. I mean, based on the way that KT played it, yes. In general, I think it's okay.
I think we would be at a game state around this third Drake here for KT, where if we had not given Jin 4 kills and not forced on that first dragon, like they would be ready to fight. Like they'd be like, oh, okay, like now we can try to set up some flank angles, we can actually contest these Drakes. The Syndra is going to struggle to set up team fights. But she's just so far ahead, she just presses R on anybody, and that's the end of that. As these Ashe arrows are very oppressive. Another thing that we could talk about is the draft, where they decided to ban Annie and give the Ashe, which was a choice that they are living with now. Not enjoying it, I don't expect.
You know what's going to happen, though, is they're going to say, well, maybe we shouldn't have subbed in Perfect and Wei for Game 2 for like the 4th time in a row. Let's sub them out and make them feel bad. And draft better on blue side. I do think that sometimes teams get into a bit of a rut in thinking, and they're like, okay, well, this is, you know, we've seen this before even publicly, where it's like, blue side's just too strong. Like, we tried, and we went for like a crazy risk in the draft, and it didn't pay off for us. But we got blue side in Game 3, so we won. But like, actually, there were ways to play around this.
Well, in before they lose Game 3, Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Then they're like, well, I guess we just played poorly in Game 3, and it was execution-based, and that's why we lost on blue side.
Hanwha's comp is much better. I would say... I think that's really... That's a confirmation bias right now, like where you're like, oh, man, look at this 6,000 gold lead. I think that KT's comp was actually super strong. The Akali was one of the question marks we had, because we're like, ooh, that's not going to be good in the early game. And that lack of prio meant that bot lane didn't go well, and then they... I mean, the contest for the first Drake is really where we go back to, like, what's going on there. The way walking into a Jin ult is once
cleanse. And Hype is in a lot of trouble here as he's trying to get over to his team. He will be okay. He's not going to walk back into that. But, yeah, still very oppressive. You know, you're just trying to farm under your turret, and even that is difficult right now.
Yeah, and the Jin Ashe in lane is what I was concerned about into Caitlyn Heimer, but outside of lane, you can see this combo is very oppressive, especially from ahead where you have a lot of deep vision, as there's just nowhere to run. Feisty.
Any hide on bush teamers as they're going to get the Ashe.
Okay.
Duro does not have flash.
All right, one little pick back.
It's challengers, guys. You never know. You just never know until the Elder Flip sings.
Yeah, with KT,
that's what they say.
KT picking this up. No objective up right now except Baron, so not going to lead to anything, but it's some gold in your pocket. The Herald is going to be dropped in the middle of the jungle, but that's okay. She'll find her way.
And Cassante, incredibly tanky, getting a big knock-up and tanking everything. You know, he is really tanky.
Relatively tanky, would you say, Valdez?
No, he's quite tanky, actually. He's relatively tanky compared to his team. But it turns out that he was not tanky enough, Wolf, and he did die.
Feisty and Pullbear having a tea party over here. Two collies on the flank.
Still flanking to this day.
Yeah. Feisty's still 2 levels off of hitting that magic level 14 that Pullbear hit in that game that we continue to reference for some reason. It wasn't even that bad, but like, we keep making jokes about it. As Cassante gets the triple knockup here, but there's just so much damage. Where's the follow-up? Cyclone is on cooldown. Caitlyn is on 1 item. So, yeah. I mean, it's not Perfect's fault, but he's there's not much he can do there.
Well, he hasn't been perfect this game, so I think we might
name
need to,
only.
Yeah. Scaling where? Haha. This man doesn't think KT have better scaling. I do not know what to say.
Well,
what do we say, Wolf?
In the game. I don't know.
I think he's helpless. It's okay.
I just want to say, Cheesinator, I think it's a great ID. I actually really like it.
He asked us a good question before, but I kind of missed it. I meant to respond to it, but maybe next time. I think it was something about, you know, like which team has got the best. These damage stats are very sad.
Yeah, the damage for this Syndra is really high because she has just been pressing R on people, and now she has Leandri, so it's just kind of inflated for a normal Syndra. Like, I love how Roamer is just like, we will win no matter what. I will make it so. He's like, I'm building Leandri's into Zhonya's. No one's going to pick me. There's no way for me to get caught. There's no way for anything bad to happen. There's no way for Feisty to actually recover and outdamage me in team fights. Just not going to occur. Even the Vi going for the Even Shroud, that's like, is it bad? Normally, no, but like it's pretty niche, but it's really strong in this case where you're like, yeah, well, if you try to engage me, Wukong, like, you're gonna get blown up. It's gonna happen. I've got Cleaver. And this is just gonna be a soul point.
Make it so, was that a Star Trek reference, Wolf?
I don't know. Not intentionally.
But maybe it was.
Maybe,
unintentionally.
yeah, maybe like a Freudian Star Trek reference.
Yeah. Love those Freudian Star Trek slips.
Sigmund wrote a lot about it. You know, he was a big LeVar Burton fan.
Absolutely. Me too. Me too. I mean, who isn't?
True.
There is some. I'm not sure why, but there is some discussion about whether or not Caitlyn is good in the late game.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say she's pretty good.
Yeah. The thing is that she doesn't have like massive. What do they call it?
Spikes?
No, like slipping my mind right now. There is an arrow coming in.
She has some utility.
No,
I'm like trying to think of like all the buzzwords. I'm like, Prio? She doesn't have Prio? Like, that's the caster buzzword, Prio.
Steroids, there you go. Steroids.
Oh,
there's another word for it, but yeah, like she's not like Jinx. She's not like, you know, Aphelios in some ways, but she does have massive range.
Yeah.
And AD carries, in general, love to have, you know, a lot of range, right? So you can hit them. And once you're on like 3-4 items, any AD carry is going to scale just based on the items, right?
Yeah.
And the crit scaling and everything like that, because she is a crit scaling AD carry, so through the items she can make it happen. Either way, guys, this is a discussion that we should know by now. We are getting on top of the Baron here as, okay, nice little flank coming in. Humble Esports actually going to respect it as looking for the knock-up. Big Gnar into the wall, just trying to burst him down with a huge amount of CC, but perfect with the 3-man knock-up, but do they have the damage to get through the wallets of Humble Esports is really the question. I just don't think that hype is ready just yet. As, yeah, they're there in the backline. They do take down Duro, but that is going to be about it, as hype will live, but yeah.
That team fight right there really showcases why the Leandri's was built for Roamer, actually. Like, these types of fights where the AD carry dies, but he actually still can carry. Okay, hold on.
Over. Rooster does have
Gnar, yeah.
Gnar here.
I think they
just
can't.
A moment.
I don't think they should contest this.
I think if they're very careful, they can. As the nets come in and a flash away from that, and now Rooster is in a really rough spot. The fact that he still had flash.
Can they hold this?
They will. They will.
Oh my God! They're actually going to try to take this.
Oh,
okay, that was insane.
But still, it's a kill onto Hype, who. Okay, very nicely done.
That was really well played by Hype. I really didn't think they were going to be able to pull that off. And obviously, if the flash is not as perfect as it was, nice delay here. If the flash was not as perfect as it was, is he gonna lure? Is he gonna ult this? I don't think so. He's too far away. So going back to the initial fight, like the pick here onto the Jin is so important because without that, like this is a complete wash. But look at how much Romer is able to do in this longer fight with Leandris. And also Rooster too, just blocking the door here with the Gnar. But without this...
Also 3 people away. Yeah. This is insane.
Without the really nice engage there from the Wukong, as you say, then they also just get totally slapped in this fight. And then Hype dodges the first stun, and then chips away here, takes this ward out. He's trying so hard like to start poking at this Gnar, dodges this Q, still poking. Gets the net, so gets the headshot, flashes the Gnar, and then takes him out. That was actually so well played by him.
And the Baron's just chipping away the entire time. Meanwhile, Rooster is the tank, and he has to engage onto the Caitlyn. I think, to be honest...
So about that range you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, to be honest, like, you really have to respect whether or not Hype is Flash. Like, you gotta know. And if he has Flash, you can't really... get onto the Baron there, right? Like, if he doesn't have Flash, then you're like, okay, we've got Mega Gnar, we can force this onto the Caitlyn. But he has Flash, so... Okay, what is this backing spot? What are we doing here? Looks like he's just gonna get away with it. Okay.
All right.
Also, even though Caitlyn doesn't have attack speed steroids, she has multiple ways to get headshots with.
So I think, like, the one way... if I'm really playing devil's advocate for this argument, and it's, like, not even... It's like not even really true, but like the one thing that is normally true of Caitlyn is she's very tempo based. She gets you ahead in lane, and then the mid game where she's fairly weak, like, you know, on one item, as we've seen here, she normally has a lot of siege. She helps her team, as we'll get to this a little bit more later as we're gonna have a fight.
Yeah.
Eventually.
We'll get there. Yeah, I mean, it's Hextech Soul, so you can see that KT really don't want to give this up.
Hambach, not in great position here, and also all these Caitlyn traps are making it difficult for HLE, but they've kind of gotten into Drake range anyways.
And now Caitlyn doesn't have Flash.
That's true. Hambach, without Flash, like, engaging here is not really a thing. Like, he can't really do anything, and Rooster is winning out against an Akali, which is what I was saying should be a problem, but because Feisty is so far behind, Rooster actually just doesn't care. He's like, I don't care about you.
Bit of poke on the Hype here. Some burn damage from the Leandris. This is just going to be a straight up flip as the arrow comes through, and it will go to the chin as the 4th shot, probably enough for Smite. A very nice scout of the week onto the backline of KT. They will just have to give Feisty away as the R button is hit onto him, and Hextech Soul is collected by Hama Life Esports.
Ooh, went Zhonya's second in this game. Not something I even realized before this fight. He just has no damage whatsoever. I mean, not no damage, but I mean, it's way lower than what you'd normally ideally like to have. Second item, Shadow Flame Spike. As they're going to try to contest here. Hambach now does have his Flash, so maybe a crazy steal could happen. But Rooster says no.
Yeah, there's a massive Mega Gnar right in front as Hype is just going to kill the Ashe.
What?
Okay, we got some challengers going on. The Flash is late as they're trying to take the fight, but Hype, again, he doesn't have Flash in this one. He's just trying to chip away at them. As we know, Hype is an insane 80 carry
He's
player,
dodging
but
everything. Like, it's actually crazy.
It's still Baron to the side of Hama Life Esports, and a lost Flash here for Hambach, who tried to go for the contest.
So now KT have a Hextech Soul, and, or rather, sorry, HLE have Hextech Soul. So HLE have Hextech Soul. They have a Baron buff. This is not looking great. The chances are not feeling good. But going back to what I was going to say about the Caitlyn scaling, like, she kind of has to follow the rail. Like, she has to be on rails, basically. She has to be like, okay, I got some advantages from my lane early, and nice snipe here from Hype. They can't get into the pit, so they're secured here once again by Lure. And then they're kind of stuck here. Hype is no Flash, so has to get out. If she doesn't get advantages early, then she can't siege in mid. If her team is behind, then she can't farm well. She's actually very vulnerable in that mid game. And if she's given some like weird scrappy fights in the late game here, like her range is going to be amazing even on 1.5 items. Now she's on 3. So maybe with some space bought here by the HLE, when she gets a 3rd item, could see it.
If she gets a 3rd item, Wolf.
Yeah, that's the question.
If she ever gets to play this game.
Because, I mean, with Hextech Soul, the siege here is amazing for HLE. And, I mean, this should be at least an inhibitor going down.
Looks pretty likely. Also, Rooster doing a good job of seeking up the waves in mid. There's the poke. Insane. The siege. Insane. From the side of Life Esports. That will be the first inhibitor that does go down. They're moving on over to mid.
Yep. And Lure here. Okay. Every single scatter does so much damage at this point. He's got his splinters up. You know, he's had that for a while. It's 31 minutes into the game. And he's got Leandri's just chipping away. Void Staff's done too. It's just poke Syndra here. It's kind of crazy.
And it allows you to do stuff like this. Press all your buttons onto the Caitlyn, and down goes Height. Not able to react in time for this. This game is over, as no one is available now to stop the push. Life Esports able to break open the front door. You can see the damage number difference as Spicy's like, please, I just want to play the game. He's not really going to be able to, as he just dies. And that will do it, guys. Game number 2. Life, as we are nearly dying to fountain lasers, really trying to make the most of their KDA at this point in time, and Perfect will be taken out, and down will go the Nexus. We are all tied up.
KT defeated here with their subs again in game 2. It's kind of been a pattern, and even HLE looking, we won't know until we hear the comms for sure, but almost looking like they were a little bit annoyed, like finishing the game there. Like, what a one-sided game, what a freebie. Because game 1 was interesting, right? You know, it was a little bit of back and forth. There was certainly some struggles for HLE, but this one, not even really officially a game.
I don't even know who to vote for, to be honest.
I think I'm actually gonna vote for bot. I thought Lure had a great game. His follow-ups to the Ash arrows were really good. The damage here for Roamer is insanely high because he was so ahead and had Leandri's, but I think Lure was more key here in this game, personally.
To be honest, to be entirely honest, I think KT's decision-making from draft into play in the game,
not befitting of a first-place team,
was the biggest reason why we had a game this one-sided. It could have been different. Life Esports, they're a great team as well, but that was not the best performance, Wolf, and I am ready to call them out. I think KT are a better team than what they showed here in game number 2.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope that game number 3 is very different to what we just witnessed.
Yeah, I mean, just you don't have to play this on hard mode. Like, first seed is so important.
I'm tilted. Wolf's just disappointed.
I don't like it when teams don't show their best for any reason. In this game, there were many reasons, as Roamer will pick up POG.
Roamer.
Just
CC score.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just don't know why we do that like that. Why we do that like that. That keeps coming up. And every time it comes up, Valdez has to say it to me to tilt me. But it's okay. He did a lot of CC score.
Quib Xanadu, you are one more comment away from getting bans. Just saying.
He's coming for you.
Yeah. Be careful.
Be wary. Valdez is here. He does have a sword on his belt.
I do have the power.
And he will cut you down. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where like you can say like, oh, really good, you know, pushing the lead forward from HLE. Like they played well around objectives, minus that one Baron fight, which was a little bit shaky. Syndra was good here for Roamer, made it look like a pick that is very strong here, especially when the Akali's picked into it. You push that lane to its full potential. But it is a game where Ash was given over. I want to see something better here, Kate, to Rolster in game 3.
Well, Wolf, they'll have blue side, no doubt. So we'll see what they can do from that side. As guys, we'll take a break and be right back. All right, welcome back, guys. We are here for game number 3 between KT Rolster and Hamalite Esports. Who will take it from here? What do you think, Lulp?
It depends on if we have substitutions or not. Because right now I'm leaning towards HLE. He's giving me the stare down. I'm leaning towards HLE if we do not have substitutions, and I didn't see. Obviously, we had like the really wide shot, so I didn't see if players have been changed. But nobody was moving their gear really, so especially not in the top or support positions. Like it looked like Hype maybe was like making sure his mouse was good, but it didn't seem like we had any substitutions. So
if they sub out Hype, I'm just just go next series. Like
if they sub out Hype, like maybe you and I will just do like a tier list of vegetables or something instead of casting the game.
It's probably happened before. This is a rebroadcast from 2025, and do I think KT can win? Yes, they do have a chance. That's what I'll say. Pog vegetable tier list.
I don't want to get into it yet. I don't want to spoil it. We
no
might
spoilers.
need that. We might
spoilers.
need that content for later. I'm not going to comment on it yet.
No comment.
So we are still in the process of getting all the stuff set up, like channel points and things like that. So
KT selected blue side.
Unsurprising. Now he did not use the return key and then type in that there are substitutions.
There are no substitutions, Wolf. Sorry to say.
That's okay. I mean, that's fine. That's KT's choice. Now,
KT's
they
like,
might be sorry about it. But
Blue's really OP, so we got to give them a chance on blue. Because that's our only chance to win. I just have this, like, this like, meta in my head of what the KT coaches actually think after some of the decisions I've seen today.
Yeah, I'm not liking what we saw there in Game 2, but we will see what happens in Game 3.
Anything can happen, Wolf.
Because I do not think they will be playing Ashe. I do not think they'll be playing Annie.
No.
I do not think they'll be playing Kled, which is really sad. But definitely not the same reason as. Meanwhile, over here on the HLE side, he's like, "Oh, you guys could do this, man. They didn't even sub their players back in. You smashed them in Game 2." And as you can see, they did not sub the players out. There is perfect on the right side of your screen, and way on the left. Okay.
All right. Let's get into it.
Now, I respect this choice because, like I said, if you lose Game 2 with your subs and just pull them out, like, what are you even doing? Notice that HLE immediately ban Ashe on the red side here.
Yeah, HLE's red side bans were good. I think they gave themselves a decent chance in game number 1.
KT will ban Annie on blue side.
Yeah, they did that in game 1 too. Same bans so far. Sub me in for Hype. I play really good bot Victor. Bibber, if you want to go and play Academy Series first and then prove that you are a really strong bot Victor player, then maybe you'll have a chance to play on the professional stage.
Yeah. Prove yourself.
Hello, Valdara.
What's up?
Very similar names.
Yeah.
Same band so far, Wolf.
Yeah, there's the Elise to complete all 6.
Is Ilma playing?
Not in this series. All right. Elise in first pick for Hambach. That is an interesting choice, but
Kimchi is not a vegetable. Well, I mean, no, it's not really. It's
not
cabbage.
really. It's a like.
It's
yeah,
also
like,
not only cabbage.
Is it like what category do we put pickles in? You know, I mean.
Yeah.
All right, Caitlyn first pick gonna go over. They'll get the karma as well. So they're like, oh, you guys are gonna play Lee Sin. You don't have a Varus lane. And Caitlyn and Karma are up. This is a very actually what HLE have done is a thing that KT Rolster's main roster in the LCK will often do for aiming. So I don't think we're picking Galio right now, but we might be. No.
Nah.
Okay.
Aphelios Nautilus. They're going to say, you know what? The bottom lane priority and stuff like that don't matter. We get crowd control, we press our buttons, and we attack the enemies. It's coming, Wolf. Trust me.
I would suggest Thresh myself, but you're right. They're going to go for the Nautilus, which doesn't give the Lee Sin the same sort of leash to work with. That's more than the Aphelios Thresh, which is very common. I think the Thresh makes the Lee Sin a lot stronger in this draft. It will be a Vi to come through here for HLE, unsurprisingly. Lots of lockdown here. It's very difficult against the Nautilus here to play a lot of different top lane champions. They're so reliant on closing the gap and getting into the back line like the Cassante. So we might see something different this time around. Maybe a Cassante-less game here for HLE. Might even ban it themselves.
And challengers, yeah, in the LCK, you know, we have kind of dubbed this second part of the draft the most important part, even though bottom lane and jungle always gets picked in the first part, and those are more important in the current meta. But in challengers, I feel like we even struggle with the first part, which in LCK is like generally somewhat solved, and like sometimes little cool things happen, but nobody's getting like a big lead in either direction. I can't really say the same about challengers.
I like the Ahri ban here for KT at least, given the Vi is open, but I don't think HLE were planning on playing it at all because it doesn't suit how their composition works. As they want a mid laner that's going to give them prio. Now, that's the prio mid laner ban I was looking for. So, did both ways here. And now you have to blind. Probably blind top. Cassante, I think, you know, not ideal here into Lee Sin and Nautilus, but still safe in basically any matchup he could play.
Renekton open.
Yeah, Renekton is open. Might just be that.
Talia.
Okay, so locking in Talia here, prioritizing that. I think that's a good choice. Not the choice I would have made, but I think it's still a strong move.
I think it's fine. You get counterpick for top. Talia can be blinded into stuff that is available, that is left open with all the mid bans we had here in the second phase.
The one thing I will say, though, is, you know, even though his name is Roamer, we did not see a whole lot of Talia action out of him in game one. He was kind of just in the lane, and they were not very decisive with their calls, so they're going to need to be way more decisive. And for the first time, Jace is actually available, and KT are going to snatch it up here.
JC.
Could just go Jace Gragas, although Gragas feels a little bit weaker on this patch.
They don't have that much CC if they go for this.
Yeah, like only Nautilus Lee Sin.
Aphelios has like Graviton.
I feel like now you can go comfortably for the Cassante if you'd like to.
Yeah, maybe something.
They're like, no CC, better get the champion that disables CC.
Yeah, I don't think Olaf is it, but
very common in LEC still.
Cassante, Ornn, Sion, I think those are all
Kled.
Good choices. No. No Teemo either.
All right, it's going to be Sion. I think Sion is way better than the Olaf here. I think Cassante would have been very good too, but they're going to opt into this. And HLE, the draft that has a lot of early game power. Really reminiscent of game one, actually, this draft here, where you're like, okay, will they do it, though, is the question.
This comp is so bad by KT. I despise being a KT fan. Yeah, KT fans generally have it a little bit rough with the roller coaster nature of both their LCK team and their Challenger League team.
It's not looking great. It does a lot of damage, but how does it work together? Scientists are still trying to figure that out to this day.
Yeah, I think if you get engaged on, you're pretty much done for. Like, Hype has some room, a little bit of room, but not really that much. I think that Homa Life have a lot of ways to play around it, actually, with the higher range of Caitlyn and even Talia rocks, and then you have hard engage with Vi and Sion, who can pretty much just ignore the 200 years of Aphelios.
Now, if Sion just walks at them, though, and HLE aren't decisive, like if they're really slow on objective setup like they were in game one, the KT just destroys them. Like they actually have to be decisive, they have to be clean with their fights, and they cannot be passive. And after game 2, maybe you're feeling a lot more confident than you were in game 1 to be more aggressive this time around. Because you got it. Otherwise, KT just scale. And they'll be like, oh, you guys are kind of like happy feet and walking towards us. Victor keeps hitting death lasers, or death rays rather. Death lasers, whatever.
Yeah, same thing. I think it works, yeah.
Shock blast coming through, and then eventually you just lose if you don't actually make the call to go in. So if both these teams were perfect, I'd be like, oh, well, HLE wins every time. But they're not, so I think this could go either way.
Agree. I think, you know, it's a 50-50. Either KT wins or Hamalife Esports wins. Those are the only two options, so of course that makes it a 50-50.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say exactly
right down the middle.
That way.
Yeah.
I'd say there's about like a 0.05% chance that the game is postponed, and neither of them win actually today.
Sure, that's a thing.
So just putting it out there.
Well, yeah.
The music is really hyping up that the possibility of game being canceled.
Yeah, you even think about that. Much.
The edge of the coin.
Yeah, the edge of the coin. You never know. Maybe it's just gonna land on the edge. It is, you know, it is possible.
You ever flip a coin that lands in a crack in your hardwood floor, and then you have to flip it again? It's happened to me before.
No, actually, no.
Never?
Yeah, I wasn't flipping that many coins back when we had hardwood floors.
Okay, well, how did you settle disputes? Like, how did you settle disputes? Like, all right, we...
Rock, paper, scissors, I guess?
Okay, but, all right, before we go into this real quick, are you a shoot guy or no shoot? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, right? All right, cool, just checking.
Actually, I'm a says shoot kind of guy. It's a little bit
okay, that's
rare.
Weird.
It is pretty weird. Either way, guys, we have game number 3 right now. Perfect. See, you did it.
I just kind of like looked at you in my peripheral. You know?
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Could not be better. Perfect timing. We're right on sync with each other.
I'm so glad we didn't cancel do.
Yeah, I mean, some people wanted it canceled, and thankfully we ignored them, and we didn't cancel it.
Yeah, I thought like maybe other do enthusiasts would have to like make a Kickstarter to bring it back, and like 5 years from now, someone would be like, oh yeah, like they're bringing it back. It's do again, the reunion tour.
Yeah, Ezekiel, you got to be careful. Nightbot is, he's very sensitive. Nightbot is extremely sensitive.
Yeah, do be cautious. Now, going back to this Talia pick, 1-4 now. He's 1-3 previously. Has not been successful. So, bit of a question mark for me. Will Roamer have a better performance this time around?
I don't like this Nautilus skin. I think the hook is weird.
Yeah,
I think it's really large and strangely angled.
I don't like it either.
I'm gonna have to give it a 2 out of 10.
That's a bit low. I'd say like maybe like 5 for me. Still 5 is still low.
5 is average.
No, 5's not average. 7 is average. You know, in the modern way. You ever see a IGN review that's lower than like 7?
Yeah, but they're wrong.
I know, but I mean, they did that Heroes of the Storm thing that one time, and then it was like, gotta be careful.
Yeah,
this is interesting. Not really.
Yeah, 5 is average. Not 7. I will not accept that.
Well, I mean, mathematically speaking, yes.
Yeah.
But with today's gaming journalism.
With the state of today's gaming journalism.
When you see a 7 out of 10 review for a game, does it make you think, oh, definitely want to buy that?
Not definitely, but it makes me think, oh, this game is above average, and, you know, I might have fun if I give it a try. Roamer should be fine. Q is going to land, though, and actually, you know what? Might have to flash this one. Does pretty late, but gets out of there.
Yeah, good shove, too. Get some extra damage done. That was dicey for a second, but he will recover. Down here on the bottom side of things, the Aphelios Nautilus, well, they get land a hook, so caster
nice
blessing, I guess.
Got him.
Was going to say, struggling as you do, but if you hit a hook, which is not supposed to happen, And it can be problematic for the Karma.
Yeah.
Temporarily, as he's back to full health.
Well, he has flash, double flash, even lure flash that one. Not sure if that was entirely necessary, but with Hambach coming over, I suppose he wanted to play it as safe as possible.
Yeah, no heal used, so they want to continue to be
The voice
aggressive.
is live. I think the voice, that TV show, is pre-recorded. Pretty sure they don't do that one live, Wolf.
I don't think so, yeah.
Yeah, the voice is not live. Well, Hook sails wide. Hambach runs onto a trap. And we're 3v3 in the bottom lane.
Yep, the tri-lane is real. Zero not going to get this route, so I think that should be the end of it, actually. And momentarily, Hype and Wei will get back control of this lane. Just for a moment, just for a little while, not for very long.
For a wee bit of time.
Just a wee bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just a teensy-weensy bit of time.
Just the itsy-bitsy spider
Yeah,
amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a fraction of the time in this game.
Okay.
Small
All
fraction.
right. Yeah. Okay.
They have now backed, so that time has now passed.
Where's Faker?
Yeah, age-old question.
Yeah. We'll never know.
Where's
Look at this
Chronicler
Nautilus.
and Atlas, man? They didn't stop by today.
Yeah. You know what I was doing yesterday? I slept until 9 p.m. That's what I did.
We should cast like this when casting bottom LCK teams. Nah, it's a little different. It's a little different. I'm just trying to hold in my angry dad feelings from now, I am not the father of the KT Rollsters Challengers team, but I like to think they're like a son to me that I'm very proud of because they're first place. And I'm thinking, man, KT Rollster could be so good in playoffs, but I want to see them perform not like they did in Game 2. So I'm just like, hold it in, hold it in. I'm getting close to vegetable tier list
Just
angles
wait.
here, though.
You never know. It's challengers.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, this game doesn't have a lot of action so far. Nobody has gone for the Hextech Drake yet.
Yeah, it's not going to be a Hextech Soul, though. So that's a change.
It's pretty hype. And not the KT bottom laner, as here we go. Roamer, he doesn't have flash, and he ran in a straight line. Hambach, a little bit wide on that one. It's okay.
Predictive Q, you could say.
Uh-huh.
Predictive.
Predictive.
That's okay. Roamer's still falling behind in CS here. Doesn't have any agency in this lane. Went for an early tier and boots. That's how you know you're not having a good time. Now Hambach is trying to hit level 6 here. I don't think he's going to get it off these Krugs, but if he had it, could maybe look for a play here. Just going to sit around this bottom lane. He knows Guon potentially coming down. And nothing's going to happen except Caitlyn Pryo.
Hey, I mean, it's a tri lane, you know, generally. Unless you get a big hook.
A Drake start? No.
Yeah.
Well,
Big
pull it out,
Cryo
pull
in
it
the
out.
bottom lane.
Yeah, pull it out. Hambach's got this blast plant and
Set
a
up your
ward.
traps. Set up. Okay, Lee Sin's in the pit. Uh-oh. How Life Esports looks like they don't want to take the chance. They don't have flashes on their bottom
If only
lane,
Talia
so.
had level 6 and an ultimate. Wait.
Wait!
Using the Talia power spike at 6?
All right, into the trap goes Wei, and down into the death chamber goes Wei. As everybody on the side of Life Esports is kind of grouped up here. A little bit scary, but it is a 4v3 after the pick onto the Nautilus, so Life will feel pretty good about their chances.
Yeah, I'd say with the Karma, Caitlyn push the bot lane instantly and then go straight to the Drake. I mean, there's no reason why this should go over. It should not be a contest anymore. Hambach does have flash, so he could come over here and try to look for a steal. And there's actually that ward still in the pit that they missed. They didn't clear it. So maybe... Nah, he's too low. He's way too low. Never mind.
Wolf, KT needed to get ahead with this composition.
Yeah.
But they're not.
They're
behind.
They're certainly behind. Unsurprisingly, the Caitlyn Karma lane looking very good here. And
Who
look at
could have
that.
seen that coming?
Roamer actually did the thing that he was too scared to do last time. Remember also HLE forced a bad fight last time with no control whatsoever without their Talia. This time they sent the Talia over.
Much better.
what an improvement here in the best of 3 in my region, in my challenger system. Love to see it.
Yeah. Seems like KT get up on the wrong foot, very wrong foot, like the most wrong foot.
Yeah, like goofy stance in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Exactly. Who would ever be goofy? Weird. No longer wants to share cake in Korea? What? You didn't bring cake to the LCK.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I said last time. I was like, Bud, you want to bring some cake to the LCK? We eat some cake. Didn't happen. I was very sad.
You know, I was very happy to meet you, Bun Squish, but also kind of happy there wasn't a cake because I don't really like cake that much, and it feels really awkward when people bring me cake and I don't eat it.
Especially if it has grass on it.
Yeah. Rumor is actually setting up a dive here, potentially. This could be huge. Level 6 for Vi.
There are 3 plates gone to the Caitlyn and Karma.
Yeah. Wei and Hype having some trouble here. Got 2 flashes earlier, but they're back up now.
And you know what, Wolf? Remember how I said the end of the draft is the most important? You saw the Lee Sin first pick, which was already questionable. But I was like, okay, Aphelios Nautilus, it's a pretty strong bottom lane. You know, it's probably going to lose, but you'll have a ton of CC. So maybe you get behind, and then maybe in the mid-game to late-game team fights, you got something going on. You build up some more CC in the second phase of pick ban.
Yeah.
But then guess what, Wolf? They picked 2
Jace and
picks
Victor
that don't have any CC.
Yeah.
Wolf.
I'm glad that Rooster didn't pick Olaf. That would have been really silly.
And so now you're losing bottom lane, you're losing Drakes as well, and yes, okay, Owner does have Flash here. Will he use it? The answer is no. He got pretty close to using it, but yeah. So you're losing bottom lane, and now you don't have, you know, the CC stack that I thought maybe they were going to bring into this game.
At least a little bit of CC used here. Romer doesn't flash, so he's taken out. This is just Hambach finally landing that elusive Q. Watch it. Oh, when it's much easier to hit those when they can't move, huh?
Yeah. Although we have seen some Lee Sins miss those from time to time.
In the LCK in particular recently, it's been quite high, the amount of misses we've seen during the kick stun duration. Has been
Did
very
I say
odd.
Owner? Everybody's like, Owner? Maybe I said Owner. I don't know.
I don't think you did, but
maybe someone else said Owner. Maybe it was you. I did say Owner. Wow. Oh. It's not even the right teams.
I thought you just said in our LCK. Maybe they thought you said when you said in our LCK that you said Owner.
Maybe. It's possible. That's definitely Hambach, though.
Yeah. This is definitely 4 plates of a turret down.
Oh, I said Romer doesn't have Flash. Yeah, Romer.
Oh. Yeah. Come on, guys. Listen.
Well, maybe I said Owner instead of Romer.
No, I don't. I
said Romer, but it kind of sounded like Romer. Okay.
Romero?
All right. Romero? Owner Romero?
All right. Like, literally everybody is rotating down to save this turret. This is, like, the game, HLE is already winning, man. They're like, okay, 4 players to come down and save the last plate in first turret blood.
What
we're so close to getting it elsewhere.
Pops off in the mid game with his lead. What do you think?
Well, he went Gore Drinker, so I'm not really seeing it, even in my telescope right now. So this is looking a little bit harder. I'm going to have to call NASA to see if they can find the angle, see the wind condition in their telescope. Hubble space, man. They're going to have to be taking a quick look.
Yeah, I'd be curious, you know, to see what they have to say about this one as well. I think they would have some good insight.
Yeah.
Here comes Owner, going up against Owner in the mid lane.
Okay, they're going to drop a Herald, so that's some money. Still 120 left to get that final plate bottom. And shoved. Okay, hold on, Duro. Queued. It's dancing!
Guys, for a second I'm like, we might have to pause this game. Because that was very close to having a bugged out Rift Herald.
There was a Herald glitch, or like it looked like a glitch in the LCK on Sunday as well, where the Herald was kind of just out of range, but almost in range, and was kind of doing a little bit of happy feet in himself, or herself rather.
Thankfully, we're okay.
Roamer does not have teleports, so just going to be losing a lot of minions here.
Yeah.
And when I say a lot, I mean like a lot, like multiple waves.
And thankfully for KT, they're a great set of players that know how to lane very well, and they are winning top and mid. So you got to hand it to them. You know, even though their bot lane is in total shambles as to be expected, they're still up 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
They have a lot of plate gold in some of these other lanes.
Wei really wants to find an angle here. I mean, this is possible.
Just got to go for the steal, and it's not going to be stolen. Nice try, but now that's going to be the end of Hambach. As, guess what? Homo Life Esports in a crowd control meta, Wolf. They drafted crowd control.
Yeah, they did, and they saw that Lee Sin. They were like, wait for him to come in, because he's going to stand around looking for the steal, and then we'll kill him. And then they did. So they get a bonus +1 kill, plus Drake, 2 Drake lead into Chemtech Soul. So, you know, obviously Faker hates them, but
Yeah.
it is going to be the whole play, or the whole turret rather. Plates have fallen just seconds ago, but it's first turret. And nearly all of the plates. Look at that, a 1,300 nearly gold lead here for Lure when he plays Caitlyn Karma into the Aphelios.
Karma's got that extra money, so she can get her first item very quickly.
And in defense of the first pick Lee Sin, Hambach and Feisty have been the best players on this team, in my opinion. I think Hype is very good, and he has really turned it up at the end of the season. So, like, I'll give him a lot of credit, but they at least have gotten a huge advantage in mid with this Lee Sin priority and the Victor pick that Feisty was given. So you don't hate it that much, but what you've lost is what we have to talk about, right? Like, you pick this to lose Karma Caitlyn, and that's a problem.
Yeah, we'll see how the game goes on. And, you know, KT, as we've said many times, they have the skills to pay the bills. I've said that more than once, Wolf.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to say because, you know, it's important. They might still win this game.
Especially with inflation, you know?
Especially with inflation. Like, you got to have those skills.
Our bills are going up, man.
Yeah, they've got them.
Utilities is actually quite high right now.
Exactly. Karma cannot get her first item early because she spent all her gold on control wards. Well, if she didn't, maybe they wouldn't have gotten those first 2 drakes.
There you go. Lots of vision control. Actually, realistically, on the first drake, like almost none at all, like not even slightly. So maybe the second drake. We'll give them a little bit more credit for the second drake.
Okay. That was not the thing to do.
Wait, though. Wait. Valdez, hold on. Maybe?
Do we call that Vi syndrome? I don't know what to say. Yeah, definitely a bit of an oopsie here from the side of Guwon. So that is going to be the Rift Herald. The second one
the
also going
is
to KT.
Still coming. Hold on. Wait. The team's going to follow up
no,
on
I'm
this.
done waiting, Wolf.
Wait, hold on.
I'm done waiting.
Scryers. Okay, so go into control, declare a control ward, or clear this ward with... Oh, he thought it was Victor only. Well, it wasn't. Where did he think the rest of them were? We won't know the answer to that question until episode 2.
Vi stands for violence.
Okay.
Nico, I'm watching you.
chest.
You better be careful. It's not your first time. You're not a first-time offender, okay? Watch, I got my eyes on you.
Why is it the ones with the obscure long number at the end of the username?
That's just the year they were born in, you know, like 18,889, you know? Nice little wall here to get this turret, or at least to get it.
They didn't get it.
Well, they're trying, you know, they're trying their best.
Wait, hold on, can they get it? No.
Yeah, they're going to be threatened here right at the end. But a very nice chunk. And nothing else is going on right now, right?
Yeah,
so,
no,
like, might as well.
Just pings going down in side lanes that aren't being taken. See those pings on top and bottom? Kind of maybe suggesting we break this siege and go get some experience. But the pings are not being followed, so we're just going to force it. We're going to force it.
Yeah, we're going to force it. And that's a Scion. You know, that's a perfectly fine target to not hook. But Wei thinks otherwise. He's going to go ahead and hook Rooster here. And, yeah, just a bit of desperation to try to hold the turret. It's not the first time we've seen anything like this in Challengers.
So,
but KT are still ahead, Wolf.
Who is going to force it harder? It was the question we found the answer to there. As HLE were really going to force that turret down, and then Wei said, I'm going on the Scion. He said, I'm tanky with my Merc Treads and cloth armor, which I don't think he actually had the cloth armor in that fight. I think he just purchased it. He died. And like you said, still a gold lead for KT Rolls. A lot of map control here for HLE. Weaver's Wall not quite back up yet for this Drake fight. A loss in this team fight here could be what KT needs to get back in control of this game. Maybe that's what happens.
This is going to be a fun one, Wolf, I think. I think we might be going the distance on this game number 2. We will have to wait and see. As, okay, we're going on to this
Just gonna
Chemtech
give
Drake.
it up as KT here because it's Chemtech Soul, I guess, to get some damage on the top turret. And they got a teleport. It's not all bad. Okay, in mid, I didn't realize they dropped this Herald here, so this could be big.
Flashing the wall. Shirley's getting a little bit lost as Hanbok is way in the back. Very nice kick, though, is going to get Roamer into an unfortunate position. Down he will go.
Okay, this is kind of disastrous here for HLE. That should be 2 turrets. So mid turret here and the inner. As perfect in a really nice spot here to continue to pressure, and that's big money. I mean, this Talia. Good Weaver's Wall here.
Yeah, like, Hanbok, it looks like he went too deep originally, but this
kick is so insane.
Oh my god. He missed the Q, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Did his job.
The follow-up is here, and the rest of HLE is all split. You know the Scion just teleported top.
Actually, a good response to Drake Pig.
Yeah, that was actually clean. Yeah, legit. Snagged. Snagged. Staged. SN-aged.
Snagged?
Snake D.
Snake D.
I don't know how to say his name, but I will say he's got a good take in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Snake D. And, you know, like we said, the draft, we were big fans of Homolife Esports, but KT, if they get a lead, if they get some footing in this game, and they use their huge amount of damage and scaling to maybe, just maybe, get to a point in this game where they can take it. It's challengers after all.
It is challengers after all.
Perhaps.
Mayhap.
They can do it.
Could happen. Perfect gonna get a turret. He's got his 2 items online here. It's not the Eclipse, so he's going to be ready to get up in the thick of things, do a little bit more brawling with this Jace, which I think is good considering the Scion on the other side. We're not always a big fan of this build, but in this case we're, I'd say, slight fans, like casual fans of it, you know.
Not hardcore
I do
fans,
enjoy, like, I do occasionally enjoy Gore Drinker Jace, you know.
watching from time to time,
From time to time.
Not watching every game of Gore Drinker Jace.
No, no. Not every game, just kind of, I'll cast it if it's in front of me on the TV when it's my day to cast League of Legends.
Sure.
I will. Yeah. I'll give my opinion on it. And I have, so that's that.
There you go.
Yeah. He is 30 CS up.
Kate 2-0-2, no bounty. Karma also 2-0-2, no bounty.
What did Riot mean by this? Bounty gold system.
It's because it's overall gold in the pockets. Something like that. We do not have a Bloodthirster for Aphelios. What did he mean by that?
What did he mean by this build? I think he means he wants to kill the Scion. He's not that worried about getting blown up.
Okay, that makes sense.
With, you know, the CC that is against him. But if his positioning is good, he's got a Lee Sin who's just going to kick the bad guys away, which has kind of been the MO here for KT so far. It might not matter. It might be okay. So we're in a bit of a lull state here. 90 seconds till this next Drake, which I like to call the Elder Spawner.
The Elder Spawner. This is a Drake that Homolife should not take. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, I legit think they probably should just try to force KT in an awkward spot and trade for Baron or something like that.
Yeah. You sit on the Baron, and if they don't fight you, take Baron. If they do fight you, turn. And you've got a great team fighting comp at this point in the game, you know? Like, the only issue for Homolife Esports is they don't have a ton of damage. They really do rely on, like, hitting one person and blowing them up. But if they can't really do that, with only 2 items on Caitlyn and Talia, they're not really going to be having like huge amounts of sustained damage comparatively to the side of KT.
definitely not. TP committed, and they're just going to do the exact opposite of what we suggest, and they're going to hard force this fight on this Soul. 40 seconds early. So yeah, I had a good question in the chat. Wolf, do you like moon pies? Yeah, I do. But only if they're like the standard normal flavor. I don't like strawberry moon pies or anything.
So you don't like cake, but you do like moon pies.
Yeah, as long as they're stock standard, you know, basic.
Okay.
Oh yes is also good.
Okay,
we're ulting on perfect.
Kind of messed that one up, but still might be able to do it. This is what I was talking about. Just burst down one guy. You have the burst damage.
Feisty is on the wrong side of the rift, man.
And now it's a 5v4. Duro just taking a massive amount of damage as Rooster getting chipped away bit by bit. Hambach tries to go in, a massive, huge ultimate comes in from the Aphelios and the Victor at the same time. And that is exactly what you need to do as KT to win these fights.
Oh my god, I actually cannot believe what we just watched. Rooster's going to get taken out here, and that is going to be the first Drake here. But more than that, they can get Baron after this. In fact, they're just going to ignore the Drake entirely and just go straight to the Baron. Thank you very much.
They don't need that Drake.
No, they don't need that. Yeah, and if they take it, it's going to delay the Elder. They want HLE to take that a little bit faster.
Exactly.
And this catch onto perfect, again, not super clean, but they layer all the CC together. And then this hook actually from Wei is pretty huge. It buys enough time for Feisty to actually get over here and set up this gravity well. He then flashes the Q from Rooster. And then the Aphelios damage here from Hype, while they're all stacked up with Inferno, is just so disgusting. It is just nasty. And that's a combo that shouldn't have happened, but it did because basically Feisty had the taunt button. He was like, they're all coming for me. They flashed the Q. He played it really well. He got out, and then everyone was clumped on the retreat. So, POG angle for Hype. Now, HLE will spawn the Elder. It will be, you know, about 6 minutes time when that comes up. But,
the Elder spawner. Now Helm of Life kind of need it, actually. For them, they're like, oh god, we need an Elder flip.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
Because the Victor's insanely fed, the Aphelios is insanely fed, Jace is fine. Like, he got blown up in the last fight, but what if he doesn't get blown up?
Yeah, I don't know if HLE even survive until it spawns, man. With this Baron buff, they might just end the game. Well, or they might also just not do anything and walk away.
That's also an option.
With this Baron buff, they might take a red buff. Got it. Secured.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Does anyone know what we shouldn't forget? I forgot it.
Oh, I know what it is.
It's the CS difference.
How much CS was it though? Do you remember?
It was 8.
Yep. Good job. You did remember it.
Nice.
Well played.
Awesome, awesome. Well,
do you remember the champion that had the 8 CS lead over the Akali?
Syndra.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to ask.
I was paying attention.
There's nothing else to ask.
Can we get an update on the CC score? It's probably above 100. As here we go.
Okay,
They're trying to find Hype, but he doesn't have flash. Down he goes. What did I say, Wolf? They can blow up one target really well.
Yeah, and the one target that needs to not be by himself way up a side lane.
I like this from KT. Little chip damage on mid turret and back.
Can they get out? Well, Rooster gets caught by this gravity. Well, I guess so. So a little bit of chip damage, and they should back out. But that's the end of this Baron. You know, essentially, it's not going to be getting that much more. Perfect. You are insane, and I guess you're going to get away with it. They know Weaver's wall is down. But if there are any wards behind him,
you know,
well, I'm sure. If there are any wards behind him, like, and he doesn't realize, like, he could get gotten flanked. Could have been bad. But you're right, he does have the empowered recall. And he gets out, gets some extra push.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice. Deece. We all right.
That's Wolf's favorite noise to make.
Yeah, pretty much.
Talia is the god within my religion. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of Talia as well. Okay. I'm like a little bit less of a fan of her in this meta compared to like Chronicler. He's the biggest fan amongst us 4.
No one's as big of a fan of Jarvan support as Atlas and Chronicler yesterday.
True.
But it didn't work.
You tell him,
I just keep trolling him about that.
So Caitlyn has 3 items. Is there a chance for Helm of Life Esports to win this game?
Yeah. True. I think so. I think I'm going to give that a yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say there's a chance.
What's 4 plus 4? Obviously, it's 44. Don't even ask me that question.
I think it's
so
8.
obvious. No?
Am I wrong?
It's
about
44.
this?
Oh, you put the two numbers together and then you get the new number. Easy.
Wouldn't it be 44 then, and not 44?
No.
Intriguing.
Just trust me on this one.
Okay, all right.
I'm
Two
good
and
at
a half minutes until this Elder spawns. And I think this fight is literally going to be decided by whether Hype is alive.
Why are you insulting the AI casters from yesterday? They're trying their AI hardest.
I know. It's really rough for them. It was rough for them yesterday, but now is the day of resting for them, and that's okay. But I do think that this game is going to be decided by whether Hype is alive 2 seconds after the fight starts or not. And I think if the answer is he is alive, KT Rolster can take the 2-1. If the answer is he is dead, then HLE will win this series. That's actually where this is my like real in-depth analysis of what's going to happen next.
Sometimes it is that simple though.
Yeah.
Wolf. Like sometimes we love to really get down and dirty with the analysis and say, oh well, you know, is he going to hit his 32 and 32 seconds, 32 minute, 32 second power spike of 3.5 items? Well, no. Sometimes it's like Life Esports have the stuns and KT have the damage.
It's just crazy, like
who gets the jump on who?
In Challengers, we still have such this dichotomy between amazing individual plays, as he's picked up a stopwatch now, like what we saw from Hype in that last bottom team fight, where you're like, oh, this guy is so insanely good. Look at his game sense, look at the ult that comes through. And then not 5 minutes later, he's just like up in the side lane completely alone and gets caught by CC and dies. Like that is the dichotomy of Challengers, because you know exactly what to do mechanically. And Korea as a region has always been about the hands. Like we have definitely been a hands region.
Yeah.
And the brain plays and the game sense about the map and stuff like that, that always comes later. That's usually what we coach. You know, the talent, that kind of comes naturally, but figuring that stuff out, you know, we're still on the way. Speaking of on the way, KT walking into this, but they have the numbers advantage.
Okay, so there's an Elder Drake about to spawn in 30 seconds.
Yes.
KT have prepared for this way ahead of time.
Yes. Roamer does have his ultimate, of course, and all eyes on these carries, Hype and Feisty. That was a weird shock blast miss. Like, that was almost sinister that it didn't hit anybody.
Yeah. No, it's true. And, you know, Life Esports, they do have great turn with all of this lockdown.
Okay, now this is I mean, they've got all the vision gone. Like, how do you walk into this as KT? You have the blue trinket. Well, that doesn't hit blue trinket, but,
okay. All right, they got some plants. Both sides using the plants.
Good Caitlyn trap set up here. They think they can burst this trap down, and I think it's risky.
Burst it!
Burst it! HLE!
Burst it! It's HLE! As we are just going to flip it, aren't we? As Rooster has a massive shield, and so much damage comes out from the Talia, but they're not able to lock down anyone on the side of KT Rolster, as in goes Lure, and he just gets burst down, trying to burst into the back line of the FLEOs. And what did I say? Well, you just try to burst down one guy. They tried to kill the front line. It didn't work. And KT Rolster, with their sustained damage, are going to win this fight.
Yeah, so Hype lived for more than 2 seconds after the team fight began, and they won the fight. And that's game.
Yeah.
KT Rolster take the 2-1. It was
Sometimes
very close.
It is that simple.
It was very close.
What? Wait, what?
Roamer did live and is
Why are
back
they
up
not
at full,
in?
so I guess they are like worried.
Oh, they don't want to like, oh, I guess it is a bit closer than we thought. Yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
we're going to have Elder flip to Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, they didn't actually secure the Elder. They just won the team fight and then pushed mid. Like, they made a split call, and they should still be able to take this, but Roamer does have Weaver's Wall. Maybe a heroic steal. He has Smite.
Oh, he has Smite?
He has Smite.
He's not going to go for it. Oh, okay. Well, nice try. But that's going to be Elder to the side of KT Rolster.
HLE now have a fighting chance, quote, end quote, because they are alive. And Teleport is back here for Roamer. He swapped it back, so he can come in. They don't have any vision, though.
Yeah,
and fighting us into Elder is like, it's just not going to happen, but where there's a will, there's a way. Not a whole lot of damage done by this Caitlyn in this game compared to the Aphelios, who's scaling very well here in this game. As Rooster plays this really well, but they're holding onto the Elder too hard. And if the follow-up is much quicker, if the follow-up is much quicker here, and Lure can actually hurt the real bad guys, not the front line, then maybe you actually win this. But instead, Hambak gets the kickoff, Caitlyn is dead, and that's the fight. And like Rooster, he also should have been running at Hype here, not away from him. Then maybe he could have zoned him out and they could have done something.
I would argue as well that even without the kick, I think K2 would win that one.
Probably.
Because the turn was just so...
not good, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a, I don't know.
It was disjointed.
They didn't choose a target, like all of Hype's damage went into Wei, who did die, but like, so what? As now, K2 Rolster with Exodia.
How quickly can Hype make their health bars disappear? Pretty quickly.
Yeah. Extremely quickly. He's got a stopwatch too.
Yeah, he has had it for a while. He just hasn't really been under any threat.
He's gonna hit a shot glass eventually. I'm gonna give him some time. Give him a couple chances here.
I mean, this is still looking really good for KT, but not very decisive here. I think they should be fine. They just really don't want to lose this series, playing very calm.
I think they can take out the 2 inhibitors first and go from there.
The mid wave is crashing.
Perfect is really having trouble with this, and the poke is actually going to be important, but still, with Exodia, might just be okay.
25 seconds on Elder.
And here's the poke from Hype as, just trying to chip away at this one. When will HLE Esports make the decision to go in is really the question. Duro is basically dead and they don't have damage. Down goes the Caitlyn immediately. And that is going to be it for this game, guys. KT Rolster will take a 35-minute game number 3 and take down the series.
So they win it ultimately in the end, but it was a very hard-fought series, and there were definitely times, especially in Game 3, where you were not sure that they were coming home the victors. It felt very much a game that was in HLE's hands until it wasn't. That one team fight bottom, and Hype gets the double pat here from the coaching staff on the back because well-deserved. I voted for him because his performance on the Aphelios was incredible. Yes, he did make that one mistake, pushing bottom way too far, but like, who's to say that? Again, that's coachable, right? That's something that you could fix over time. But the guy's raw talent in terms of positioning and team fighting is exactly what you're looking for in an AD carry player. 20,000 damage in this game, doubling that of his lane opponent, who did way more in the early game and was responsible for all of HLE's gold lead.
Yeah, KT Rolster essentially went for a composition that was like 3 different types of knives. Like, you didn't really need 3 different knives, but if you have 3, they're gonna cut stuff really, really well. And they didn't necessarily have to go for that many knives, but eventually they just cut through the entirety of HLE Esports' composition, and HLE were not able to turn effectively and blow up enough targets. Well, the one target in some of those late game team fights, and KT's damage just scaled to oblivion.
I really thought that HLE could have played the mid game a lot more aggressively and a lot more confidently, but just like in Game 1 with their previous Talia comp, it didn't really seem very decisive. There were times where they were in the early mid, especially that first Weaver's Wall, but it became a problem. Like, some of the calls they were making, like Weaver's Wall trying to defend the second Herald and then just kind of putting yourself in harm's way. Like, that was another big turning point, then losing that fight bottom.
If Lee doesn't get Pog all riot. Yeah, he had some insane kicks.
He did.
I'm a big-time Hambak enjoyer myself, but unfortunately Wolf and I just went for the AD carry boom boom.
Yeah, I mean, I thought his plays were what won them the game overall, so I had to do it. But I thought the Lee Sin kicks were great.
Mr. Sheikah.
I think there's a chance Lee Sin gets it.
Get it.
Yeah, he might still get it.
There's like 11 to 15 voters on challengers.
Yeah, there might be at least like 37 voters actually.
We actually don't know the exact number, but we know it's a sizable number. So
it could
actually
be somewhere between 1 and about 142 people.
I think you're right. So Wolf and I don't have that much power. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Maybe even less than what we have there, but yeah, still Hype will be picking it up here. We even have a CC score in there as an 80 carry.
Wow, 259. Pretty
nice.
low. compared to some of the other champions that have real CC that we see here. You know, we have gone over 1,000. I don't know. I just always have to mean the CC score thing. But yeah, no, he played very well.
I think just his positioning and the damage that he did, like, really huge shout out to Hambach and some of his game-changing kicks. Like, you are correct, Mr. Sheikah, but Aphelios was played really well.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes when you have a player of the caliber of Hype and you see how well he plays the Aphelios, we're all just like, man, just gotta give him the tap on the shoulder for this one.
Two teams that we just watched today, two of the teams that are big front runners for winning playoffs, right? I'd say KT definitely a bigger favorite than Hanwha Life, but showing some weaknesses here in this series. Also, really making it harder for themselves than they needed to, but either way, still our first place team, and they were looking for a +2 to put themselves one step further ahead of D plus Kia, but
yeah,
+1 instead, and that means right now, at this moment in time, they are 3 points ahead of D plus Kia. We'll see if that changes. Could have been 4, and there are, of course, that additional series win ahead of D plus, so 14-3 to D plus is 13.
And they're 4 points ahead of DRX.
Yeah. So their chances are pretty good.
Wolf, if you are given a cat instead of cake, will you feel acknowledged? I think Wolf has enough cats already.
Yeah, I mean, I have 4 cats, and I do appreciate your photoshops of my cats. They're very funny. But I don't think I can take care of a 5th one right now. It's a bit much for me.
So now, wow, they have the entire team on there. So this might be an extra extended edition of the... Chronicler knows the official name. The Challenger and Chat Community Corner. I think it's called something like that. C4.
C4, okay.
Yeah.
There's a Maru, there's a Bori, there's a Gandor, and a Hong. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Grassboy, a.k.a. Keck.
Cronny Keckler. Yeah.
Caster Chat Community Corner. What did you do on your day off, Wolf?
I don't know. It kind of flew by. What did I do? I played a lot of
That was
Kled.
yesterday?
Yeah, I played a lot of Kled.
Okay.
Kled mid. That's my new thing that I'm trying to play a lot. And surprisingly very easy and very strong, and I just kept winning, and the more I was winning, the more I was like, I want to keep playing Kled mid. Then I was like, all right, so I was rolling mid and support as my roles, because I was like, well, I've been playing support mostly recently. Then after I won like 3 games in a row, I was like, all right, mid and top, and then I just kept getting mid, and then like on like the 8th game, it gave me top, and I played Kled top and just absolutely smashed an Aurelia top, and I was like, all right, I guess it's just broken. I don't know, like it's just you can't lose, like it's crazy. So I was just elo farming, and then I ate samgyeopsal for dinner. I went out, as I told chat yesterday, I went out for some KBBQ. It's been a while since I've gone out to dinner, so I did that. Which cast LCK tilts easiest in league? Easily Chronicler. Easily Chronicler.
It might be me, actually.
You're a close second.
When I played with Chronicler, I was the one tilting more than him. So might be me. Might be me.
So yeah, I'm mid these days.
That's good.
Ever since I picked up
Join
Kled.
us.
Valdez is also a mid player.
Yeah.
Atlas has played mostly
jungle.
bot when I have played with him, and Chronicler is jungle.
Yeah.
That's my assessment. I haven't played with Chronicler in a little bit, so he might be doing something different, but
Valdez was tilting on stream, but he was also carrying harder. So you win some, you lose some. It's very difficult. How's dating in Korea? It's a pretty large topic.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, it's just like dating anywhere. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Sometimes you win,
you
sometimes
mostly
you lose.
lose.
It's
you
mostly
lose.
terrible. I'd say that the expectations on both sides of the relationship, if you can call it that, it depends on what you're doing when you're dating, are very high. The expectations are very high. So basically be perfect and you'll be good. You'll be good.
Yeah, just basically be. Actually, I'm not sure perfect is good enough, to be honest. Like, you might have to be a little bit better.
If you are like a K-drama star, if you are like the person in a K-drama, that's what I meant to say. Like, if you are that person, and maybe even like more handsome or pretty, then probably you're set. Otherwise, probably not.
Oh, I didn't realize you were talking about like appearances. For me, I was talking about like expectations.
Well,
people showing up on time. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Like, people showing up on time or showing up at all. Y'all be there in 5 minutes. Still waiting, you know. Everyone's had a few of those. Everyone's had a few of those. I was suddenly in a car accident. Okay.
Yeah.
2 times in a row. I guess, like, just tell me.
2 times in a row.
Maybe just use a different excuse the next time. This is like a meme in Korea about like the car accident thing. Like, if she says she was in a car accident 5 minutes before your date, it means she is not coming. And she is not coming the next time either. Do they know my famous?
I don't know.
Ooh, Raboki is a great choice.
But don't chew the pepper.
Yeah, don't do that. That's tough.
Thanks for the insights, bros. Are any LCK pros in a relationship?
Yes.
I would say guaranteed.
Yes.
At least one. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We do not have one. Well, some of us do. I do not have a famous person signature.
I do not either. Glad to see you got better after literally dying, though. I think we're okay. I mean, maybe you're talking about like us dying to fatigue because of our rough working schedules, perhaps.
We're all right.
Oh, I see. Okay. In response to Bun Bun.
Oh, okay.
Dating is an XP waste. Don't waste your XP on dating. You need to become a grandmaster.
It's a bit of a. It can also be a bit of a gold sink.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you been to a player's wedding? I can't say that I have.
I have.
Like StarCraft?
StarCraft players, yeah.
Have you guys all played together as a 5 with Hooney? Not with Hooney.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't think Hooney wants to play with us.
He would play for fun, you know, like normal 5s.
Hooney, yeah. I would like to play with him more than I think he wants to play with me. I also feel like Hooney was like not interested in playing with like the top 5 top laners in LCK. They're not good enough for him either.
I don't know if this was a really short C4, but we're already done. I thought we were going to get a long one with all of the people getting interviewed on stage, but maybe they just asked everybody one question and that was it. So we're going to be back in about 30 minutes for our second series. Don't go anywhere.
가엔나 키리키 집중